Hey guys, today's video is a compilation video of every palette ranking that I've ever done. So let's take a look at my full eyeshadow palette collection.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. If you're new, I'm Kelly. This is KBellaBeauty, and I am here with a little bit of a different video. I am going to be ranking my eyeshadow palettes, but I do have 11 eyeshadow palettes left to share with you, and I am going to be ranking them based on least favorite or least used down to most favorite or most used, and I'll kind of chat with you a little bit about each one. And then if I do have individual reviews or makeup videos using each of these eyeshadow palettes, I will link that down below so that you can check those out if you're interested. But why don't we go ahead and jump into the video. So the palette that comes in at number 11 is a palette that I really don't use anymore, and I've thought about decluttering it, but I still have it in my collection for whatever reason, and it is the Lorac Pro 2 palette. I have decluttered my original Lorac palette. I loved them when I first got them. I was a fan of the Pro 2 more so than the Pro 1. I did have this in my project pan for 2018. You can see I've hit pan on Nectar, and I do have dents in some of the others. This was a palette that I really loved when it first came out and when I first got it. I did always feel like the Lorac palettes were really easy to travel with. They're really lightweight, they're very thin. You can just throw them right in the suitcase and go. But it's just a palette that as my collection has grown, I no longer reach for it. And even when it was in my project pan for 2019, I found that I still wasn't really reaching for this palette a lot, and I decided not to declutter it. I wanted to hold on to it in case I decided that I wanted to use it, but it's really one that just sits in a drawer somewhere. All of my other palettes are like out in the open where I can see them, and this one just kind of sits in a drawer. So at some point I will declutter it, but that is that's the oldest palette in my collection as well. Number 10 is a palette that my friend Samantha March here on YouTube raves about. It is one of her favorite palettes, but you can see it is one of my least favorite, and that is the, ooh, it's very reflective, Dose of Colors Marvelous Mauves. Now, I don't think that these are bad eyeshadows. I don't think this is a bad eyeshadow palette. You do get a little brush with it. Let me pull it out so that it doesn't fall. But I don't find myself reaching for this palette really ever. I picked it up when it was part of the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale, so I did get it on sale. I wanted to try it out. Samantha raves about it. This is one of her favorite eyeshadow palettes, and I'm glad that I got it because I did want to try it out. You do get 5 eyeshadow shades, and I have created a few looks with it, but this is just a palette that I don't find myself reaching for. You do get a lot of kickback in the pan, but I don't find that I get fallout on my face. And I mean, it's a cute palette, it's very tiny, it would be easy to travel with, but for whatever reason, I just find that I don't reach for it. This is a palette where I would have to tell myself, like, hey, you need to use this palette. So that's why it comes in at number 10. I just don't reach for it. Number 9 was gifted to me. It was a palette that I wanted for a really long time because it was a YouTube cult favorite, and that is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar. I went back and forth between the chocolate bar and the semi-sweet, but I did get this from my friend Smags as a Christmas gift a couple years ago. This is a very beautiful neutral palette. You have a lot of nice shades. People on YouTube have raved about this palette. They talked about how it has been an OG favorite for them. They use it time and time again. And I've gotten some good looks out of it. It has a really nice eyeshadow shades in here. It is good quality. I really love this, Creme Brulee and Marzipan lid shades. They're beautiful. I love that you get a very nice large white chocolate shade. I use that to kind of set my eyeshadow primer, but for whatever reason, I just find that I reach for my other eyeshadow palettes more. I don't dislike this palette. I do like it. I just reach for other palettes more. So that is why that comes in at number 9. Number 8, another Too Faced eyeshadow palette. This was a recent purchase for me because this was in the holiday 2018 collection, and it is the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice palette. Now, I am really glad that I got this palette, and I got to try it before I bought it because my friend Smags had it. But this is a palette that I only reach for when I'm looking for certain looks. It's not a palette that I kind of reach for every day. I don't really get like my everyday looks from it. But if I want something that's like very warm or very berry, that's when I reach into this palette. It's very specific with the cranberries and the pinks and the oranges, and it's just not an everyday eyeshadow palette. I do like it. I don't dislike it. I'm glad that it's in my collection because I really, really wanted it, and I do like using it. But I only reach for it for very specific looks, which is why it's number 8. Number 7 was a gift for me, and it was the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I went back and forth on if I wanted to purchase this palette. Did I want to get it? Did I not want to get it? I love traveling. My husband and I have traveled a ton. I was absolutely obsessed with the packaging. I got this, was it for Christmas or for my birthday? One of the two, but either way, again, the colors are beautiful. I love this eyeshadow palette. I've gotten a lot of use out of it. The only reason why this is at number 7 and not higher up on the list is because I get a ton of fallout with this eyeshadow palette. I recently did a palette bingo, and you can see in that video, there was fallout all over my face. So anytime I use this palette, I have to go in with my eyeshadow shades first and then wipe away any fallout before going in with my face. So I like it. It's beautiful. I'm definitely glad that it's in my collection, but I get a ton of fallout. So there are times where if I'm trying to go for like a quick and easy makeup look, that's not the one that I reach for. Another eyeshadow palette that was new to my collection is the Dose of Colors Desi X Katy Friendcation palette. I picked this up on sale. I have a full review coming, so I don't want to talk too much about it. I did test it out Tuesday. I've done 3-in-1 tutorial. This is what the eyeshadow shades look like here. Basically, long story short, I love the mattes. Not in love with the shimmers. The shimmer shades kind of give me a ton of fallout all over my face. The mattes are really smooth, they blend easily, they're super creamy. I really, really like working with the mattes, but the shimmers, I get a lot of fallout. So the reason why this is number 6 is, again, because if I am using this eyeshadow palette, I have to do my eyes first before I can go in with my face makeup. So that's why it's kind of just the middle of the road. I do enjoy it, I do like it, but it's one where I know if I'm trying to go for like a quick and easy kind of look, don't reach for that one because it's gonna take some time. Now we are getting into my top 5 palettes, and number 5 is a very large palette. It is the Morphe x Jaclyn Hill, the Jaclyn Hill palette. I absolutely loved this palette when I first got it, and I still do love it, don't get me wrong. I do love this palette, but it's very large. You do get a ton of shades. You can create a ton of looks with this. I love the versatility. It's mostly neutrals, but you do have pops of color that you can use, which are really, really nice. I do enjoy them. This was a palette when I first got it. I kind of had to force myself to put it down and use other eyeshadow palettes because I wasn't using other ones, but even though this is in my top 5 and it's one of my favorites, it is one that sometimes I kind of have to remind myself, like, hey, go grab that and use that, because there are other eyeshadow palettes that you will hear about in a minute that are just kind of grab and go, don't even think about it, I just grab it and use it. But this is still top 5, one of my favorites. I love it, I recommend it, I think the quality is great, and I just love how you get a ton of different shades. You can kind of create any look that you want. Number 4, the next 3, just letting you know, are all from the same brand. Number 4 is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette. I was so drawn to this palette because it's so different. I don't have anything like this in my collection. You definitely have your neutrals in there, so you can use this for everyday go-to looks. This is what is on my eyes today, but you also have some pinks in there, you have some purples in there, a nice rose gold shade, so you can get some color with this palette. I remember when it first came out, some people were upset because they felt like they wanted it to be more purples, like they thought that it would be a specific, like, majority purple eyeshadow palette. But I'm super glad that she threw some neutrals in there, because this is an eyeshadow palette that I can reach for every day, but if I am feeling like in the mood to do something a little bit different. I also have pops of color in here, which I really, really like. And you can see I have the rose gold shade on my lid, and so it's really nice. It's a little bit different, but it's not too much. So I like this. I love the quality of her eyeshadows. They do have a little bit of kickback in the pan, but I don't really find that I have a ton of fallout on my face, which is why this is an easy go-to, because I can do my face makeup before my eye makeup when I'm using Anastasia's shadows. And palette number 3 is the Master Palette by Mario. This was a collaboration between Kim Kardashian's makeup artist, Makeup by Mario on Instagram, and Anastasia Beverly Hills. This was a palette that caught my eye the second it came out. I was so drawn to it. I was in love with that Bronx shade, but I also love the golds in here. Kind of looks like a basic palette, I think. You have some basic eyeshadow shades, but there was something that drew me in, and I knew I wanted to add this to my collection, and I'm so glad that I did. When I first picked it up though, it was a palette that I picked up, used a few times, and then it sat on my shelf, and I really fell in love with this even more when I did my 2018 Project Pan, because this eyeshadow palette was in there, this one along with the Lorac palette, and I would reach for this one every single day. I would create just beautiful natural looks for work, but you could also go in and really make it smoky with Bronx or Paris or Claudia. So I loved the versatility. I could use it for every day, but I could amp it up a little bit. And again, I love Anastasia's formula. I love the quality. You do get kickback in the pan, but I find again that I'm not getting fallout on my face. So this is definitely a favorite of mine. Number two is the palette that I reach for when I don't know what I want to do. If I'm sitting there knowing I need to do my makeup, or if I need fast makeup, or if I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do today, I reach for the Modern Renaissance. This is obviously, it's number 2. It's one of my all-time favorite eyeshadow palettes. I have used it a ton. I definitely stick more to the neutral shades over here, but I do love that you can get cool toned. You can add a little bit of pink. This was the eyeshadow palette that I used in my friend's wedding that I was in November. I brought this eyeshadow palette with me. I used it. A ton of my friends used it. It's very nice for like everyday wear. And if I can't think of what I want to do with my makeup, this is what I reach for. So I think it was in one of my Best of Beauties. I want to say maybe it was in my 2017 Best of Beauty. That was the year that I picked this up, and I still love it. I'm so glad that I got it. It is number 2. That is what I reach for. But now what many of you are wondering, what is my number 1 most reach for favorite eyeshadow palette? You might consider this one cheating a little bit, because it is a Z palette that I created myself. But I've talked about these eyeshadows a lot, so if you are not new to my channel, you are probably very familiar with my Makeup Geek eyeshadows. These made my Best of Beauty before. They might have made my Best of Beauty every year. These are my favorite eyeshadows. I don't know if it's because I picked them out, so I curated this eyeshadow palette. It's my own, it's my favorite, it's my go-to. Oftentimes I have to pull this away from myself, and I have to force myself not to use these eyeshadows to give my other palettes some love. But the only thing is, I don't really travel with these because I'm afraid that the Z palette's gonna break, or that they're going to break in the Z palette. So I would reach more for my Modern Renaissance when it comes to traveling and things like that. But on a day-to-day basis, if you were to ask me my favorite eyeshadows, I would say my Makeup Geeks. These are the ones that I use the most. I absolutely love them. You can see that I've hit pan on a couple, and I have some dents in some of the others, but these are just go-tos for me. If I were to add up the price of this palette, it's probably my most expensive, but these eyeshadow singles as individuals are very affordable in my opinion. You have shimmers, you have mattes, you have duochromes, you have foils. She kind of has everything that you're looking for, in my opinion. So you could create a smaller 9-pan eyeshadow palette for yourself, or you can have a whole Z palette full of eyeshadows like me, but this is my number 1. Most reach for favorite eyeshadows.
Hello, Happy New Year. Welcome to today's video. I am technically filming
on New Year's Eve. So I am still in 2021. We are now in 2022. I don't know exactly when this is going to upload, but I know it's going to be my first video of the new year. So hello, welcome. If you are new here, my name is Kelly and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the KBella fam. But today we are here to talk about and rank all of the palettes that I tried, the eyeshadow palettes that I tried in 2021. Why don't we go ahead and get started? So I do need to start with like an honorable mention. It's a palette that I can't rank because I have not used it yet, but it was a Christmas gift. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Eye Palette. The Smoky Eyes Are Forever. And this was actually my Christmas gift from Smags. Beautiful palette here. And I haven't had a chance to try it yet. So I did get it in 2021, so I wanted to mention it, but I can't technically rank it yet and tell you my thoughts on it. So if you're interested in like hearing a full review, seeing some looks, let me know. But I did get this in 2021, so I wanted to let you know, but we will not be ranking it today. Okay, so in 2021, I did try, this is funny, I never thought about it until now. I tried 21 palettes in 2021. Well, this technically I didn't try it, but I got 21 palettes in 2021, including this one right here. But in my rankings, we're gonna be going from 18 down to 1 because I figured for number 18, I need to talk about 3 eyeshadow palettes that I'm decluttering. Now, I'm not decluttering them because they're bad, but I filmed a declutter video as part of my 12 days of makeup, and I can link that right here if you want to know why I'm decluttering them. But the 3 palettes that are all together in the 18 category is the BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin palette, the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop palette, this one is in Sugar Cone, and then the Your Golden palette by ColourPop. I don't think any of these are bad. I just think they don't have a spot in my collection right now. And if I were to rank these 3 among themselves, the ColourPop Your Golden would come in last place. Then just simply because of the color story, I would have the BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin. And on top of those 3, ooh, this almost fell out, would be the BH Cosmetics Sugar Cone palette. But because I am decluttering them, I thought that they needed to go in the number 18 spot. And like I said, if you want to hear more about why I'm decluttering them, check out that declutter video. But now we are going to work from 17 down to 1. I do want to say, if you're new here, I am a neutral lover, so most of these are neutral palettes, and a lot of these you'll see are ranked based just on personal preference. So like for number 17 is the Jouer French Riviera palette. Now this was my first hand at trying Jouer Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes, and I don't think this palette is bad. Honestly, this green, this blue caught my eye, this olive down here. This blue is a little bit more of like an iridescent topper. This green does have some pigment to it, but it doesn't really pack a punch. And honestly, since trying out this palette, I haven't found myself reaching for it. It's not one that I'm like constantly grabbing or wanting to use, and I don't know how long it will stay in my collection. It was definitely the color story that caught my eye. I thought that it was a super fun color story, but when it comes to the palette itself, I didn't really love the quality. So that's why it rings in at the number 17 spot. Number 16, this is a palette that I've talked about a couple times on my channel, and it is the Glam Light Ice Cream Dream palette. This is the only Glam Light eyeshadow palette that I had, and I got this for a specific reason, because I do have a ton of neutral shades in my collection, but I wanted a palette that had a little bit more color and that had more like pastel pops, so that when I want to play with color, I have the option to do so. But I found that I don't love the Glam Light formula. I thought the mattes were fine, they were blendable. It was the shimmers that I wasn't in love with. I feel like you really, if you're trying to use a brush, you really have to dig a brush in there. Your finger is the best way. I normally have nails on. I took them off over the holiday break, but I don't love applying eyeshadow with my fingers, and these shimmer shades remind me of the ColourPop Super Shock shadows, and I don't love those. So this isn't my favorite palette. I'm not in love with the Glam Light quality, but I'm going to keep it because it is a nice, fun, colorful palette. But I do think that you should take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I know there are a ton of people who love the Glam Light formula, who love the Ice Cream Dream palette, and who think it's great. But this one just, it's not a favorite, but I'm gonna keep it. Coming in at the number 15 spot is the collaboration between Ofra Cosmetics and Samantha March. This was her like round 2 collab with them, and this was the Life's a Draft palette. So this is an eyeshadow palette and a face palette. This was my first time trying out the Ofra Cosmetics eyeshadow formula. Now I do want to say, I'm going to keep this palette. I think it's good. It's not the best quality ever. I do really like the Ofra face shades, so I really enjoyed the bronzer, blush, and highlighter, but I feel like the eyeshadows are just subpar. With this color formula, I felt like I got the same eye look no matter what combinations I used. I didn't think that it like performed poorly or anything, but it just didn't like pack a punch the way that I like my lid shades or my eyeshadow to do so. So I'm gonna keep it in my collection because I like Samantha. I've known her for a really, really long time on YouTube, and I really wanted to support her, and I think the face shades are great. I just don't think that the Ofra eyeshadow quality is my favorite. Coming in at the number 14 spot is the Vive Cosmetics The Essential palette. Now this was the first eyeshadow palette that Vive Cosmetics came out with, and so Jamie Genevieve, the creator, the CEO of Vive Cosmetics, said that she wanted like an essential eyeshadow palette that you could kind of use, like that makeup artist could use, and you could kind of have a little bit of everything. This eyeshadow like color story is definitely right up my alley. I love neutrals. I feel like the mattes are super creamy and blendable. They worked well. I wasn't a huge fan of these 2 shimmer shades in Thea and Carrot. Now, if you watch Jamie's video, she said that she likes to apply those over like a glitter glue base. I don't have a glitter glue base. I don't like glitter. I don't like chunky shimmers, and that's what these 2 are. I think glimmer is fine, but I find that that's why I don't reach into this too much, is because I don't really wear all matte looks. I do wear a shimmer on the lid whenever I'm creating a look. So because I don't love these 2 shimmer formulas, this one's the only one that I really use out of the palette. I don't find myself reaching for it that often, but I am still happy to have this in my collection, and I think the color story is great. In the number 13 spot was a collaboration between Kaleidos and Angelica Nyqvist. It is the Club Nebula palette. Now, I had been hearing about Kaleidos. I wanted to try the brand out. I was waiting for the right moment, and this palette felt like the right moment for me because I do love Angie. I love her videos. I think that she is super talented, super creative, and I really wanted to try a little bit of color and have something a little bit different. Now, the reason why this is ranking lower on my ranking video, it's coming in at what, number 13, is simply because of color story. This is not an everyday go-to for me because I'm such a neutral lover. However, the quality is amazing. I love the looks that I create with this. I feel like these shimmer shades look amazing over like a deeper matte. It really makes them pop. I love the looks that I've created with this palette, and overall, I really do enjoy this eyeshadow palette. I'm super happy to have it in my collection, but just because it's not a color story that I reach for often, that is the only reason why it's ranking a little bit lower. You saw my BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin palette getting decluttered, but it's definitely not because of the quality. Number 12 is the Avocado Toast by BH Cosmetics, the Weekend Vibes. Greens are more up my alley, more of my color story than blues. I tried the blues out. I didn't find myself reaching for them, but I can definitely work with the greens you have in here. There's this nice, like, fun aqua row down here. I created a look, and I got so many compliments on it. I don't find that this is like an everyday go-to for me because I do like more like neutral toned down looks, but when I do want to reach for a green, I think the quality is great and the price is right with BH Cosmetics. I want to say that these go on sale for like $17 or $18, but BH is always running sales. I mean, like, always running sales, and you can get these priced down for like 12 or 13 bucks, so I think it's worth it. So as we move down the rankings, the top few, like the Jouer, the Glam Light, the Ofra palette, those ones are kind of like my blah, like whatever. I could kind of go without them, but I have them. Now we're getting into, like, once we get into like the Vive and the Avocado Toast and Club Nebula, these are like the like category. I like these, but they're not absolute favorites. So coming in at the number 11 spot is the very first eyeshadow palette that I picked up in 2021. And it is the Charlotte Tilbury, the Rebel palette. Now I really, oh my gosh, it's so hard to open. I really like these greens. You have like two more green shades. This one's a bit more of a topper, but it's a little bit smokier, and a gold shade. I really like these four shadows. I think they work great on the lid, but you don't really have enough, in my opinion, to create a whole look. So although I really enjoy greens if I'm reaching for color, and I really, especially this one, I really like these top two, the green and the gold. You can create some fun like smoky green looks, but because I can't create a whole cohesive look, like I just couldn't put this any higher. In the number 10 spot is by Huda Beauty. It is the Wild Jaguar palette. This one I thought was super fun. I've been wanting to try the Huda Beauty Obsessions palettes. Now this shade in the middle is definitely more of a topper. I think it is the star of the show and the reason why a lot of people got this palette, but it is more of a topper. However, I really like that you can kind of go smoky here. You have a little touch of purple. You have a gold for $29. I think the price is right there. You get a smaller 9-pan palette with a mirror, and I think the quality is good. Is it the best? Is it great? No, but it's good and I like it. So that's why it's in the number 10 spot. Number 9 was my first Sigma palette, and it is the Sigma Ambiance palette. Now, when I first got this palette, I was kind of hoping that it would take over for my Modern Renaissance. The Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance is like my go-to, like when I don't know what palette to reach for or what look to create, that's what I go for. And I was hoping that this would take its place, but it didn't. I think it's nice. I like how the shadows are kind of grouped in quads to create looks, and I feel like that makes it easy if you are a beginner or you don't feel so confident in putting colors together like myself, then that's great. Some of these are shimmer toppers. Some of the shimmers are much more pigmented. The mattes are super creamy and blendable. I like it. I think it's a good palette, and I don't really have a reason why I don't reach for it more, but this is one where I kind of have to like tell myself to pull it out. I just don't find myself organically reaching for it. Coming in the number 8 spot is by Artist Couture. It is the Supreme Nudes. I wanted to love this more. Throughout the year, I heard a ton of people talking about it, raving about it, saying it was an amazing palette, and I don't think it's bad. The color story is definitely right up my alley. The mattes are super creamy and blendable. I'm just not in love with the shimmers. I feel like they're a little bit more toned down, a little bit more subtle, and they don't really pack a punch, and so that's why I don't think it's bad. I think it's good quality. I just feel like I want a little more like oomph when I'm trying to come up with a shimmer shade. Like I want a little bit more of a pop. And so I honestly I don't reach for this that often. I still like it. I'm glad it's in my collection. I definitely recommend it if you're a neutral lover or a beginner and you want a nice staple palette. It's just not like a top favorite for me. Coming in at number 7, these are still likes, but they're closer to the love category. We do have the NARS Climax palette. I initially was going to pass on this. I hadn't tried NARS eyeshadows before. I didn't really feel like looking at this that I necessarily needed it, and then I kept seeing the reviews. My friend Aileen from A Merch Beauty, she picked this up and raved about it. Jamie from Jamie Trini on Instagram, she picked it up, raved about it. Allie Glines raved about it in a video. So I got my hands on it, and I have to say the quality is amazing. I love it. I feel like the mattes are super creamy and blendable. The shimmers definitely pack a punch. I get minimal fallout, and I don't have to dig too hard into the shades. So I really do enjoy this palette, and that's really all I have to say about it. For the number 6 spot, we do have the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. I really do enjoy this eyeshadow palette. I had wanted it for a really long time. When I heard that it was limited edition and that it was going out of stock and you weren't going to be able to get it anymore, I decided to jump on it during the Sephora VIB sale, and I do really love it. However, some things that I feel like could be done a little bit better is the fact that all of these golds pull a little bit more orange gold. There's no like champagne gold or yellow gold. I mean, even this one still pulls a little bit more orange. I really like these green shades up here. I really love the neutrals over here. I just wish with the amount of golds that we had a little bit more of a range. Now I do find that I really like the, the cream to matte, the cream to powder formula. I do find that I really enjoy that. This palette is super pigmented, go in with a light hand, super creamy and blendable. I love the formula. The reason why it's not in the top is because I do have to kind of play with those shimmer shades a little bit, but I do still love this palette. So now we're in the top 5. These are my loves. These are the palettes that I tried this year that will definitely stay in my collection for a long time. The first being the ColourPop Limoncello palette. Now I do have to say the reason why this is in the top 5 is honestly mostly for nostalgia. My husband and I did go to the Amalfi Coast a couple years ago before I had my daughter, and so the packaging, very sturdy, very solid. You get a nice mirror, and I think the quality is good for ColourPop. This is really, really good quality, super blendable. But it's definitely more of the nostalgia why this is higher up. I do love the color story. You can create a ton of fun looks. You don't have a huge variety. You can either do a little bit more like orange neutral, you can get pretty yellow, you have a pop of blue in there, but I do really love this palette for the memories that I have and the packaging, and that's really why it's in the number 5 spot. Now, a palette that I have found that has become like my go-to, a staple if I'm getting ready for work, if I'm going on vacation, it is the BH Cosmetics Amore in Amalfi palette. Now, I don't think you can get this any longer. And I don't know if it's because of the whole chillin' in Chicago thing that happened. A lot of people were saying that it was marketed as a brand new palette, but a lot of people said that it was the exact same color story as Chillin' in Chicago, but Chillin' in Chicago was on its way out and the Amore in Amalfi was on its way in. But the reason why I love this palette, first of all, the BH quality is great, the BH price point is great in my opinion, but the reason why I like this is because you have a row of browns, a row of rosies, a row of orange, and then a row of like mustardy yellows. Now, of course, you can mix and match, but I find these to be very easy if you just work in rows. You can create a nice cohesive look, you get a variety of neutrals, and I think the pigmentation is just really great. And again, me having been to the Amalfi Coast, I really love the artwork and the names and everything as well, so this has definitely become a staple for me. Now, this next palette, this is why I feel like you should take everybody's reviews with a grain of salt, because my friend Emily from Emily's Makeup Bag ranked this extremely low, but this is number 3 for me. Number 3. This is the Pat McGrath, what's it called? Celestial Odyssey Luxe Quad in Bronze Borealis. Now, I do have to say, this was my first time really purchasing and trying out Pat McGrath eyeshadows. I do know that this is the same price as her other quads, but that the actual pan sizes is a little bit smaller, and I know a lot of people were upset about that, but it's the color story for me. It is the color story for me. This matte shade, I just go in with a light hand, I blow it out, I pick a shimmer shade to go on the lid. This shade right here can go on the inner corner. I just create a nice, cohesive, quick and easy look, and I really like the formula. I think it's amazing. So for me, this comes in at the number 3 spot, but like I said, my friend Emily had it ranked a little bit lower, and she's tried a little bit more Pat McGrath, so take everything with a grain of salt, but I love this little quad. In the number 2 spot is another Vive Cosmetics. This is the Muse palette. Now, this one made it up higher for a couple reasons. The first being the color story. I'm very into, as you can see, the rosy tones. Those are my tones right now. Again, I think the quality of the mattes are great. I really find that there are some unique matte shades in here that are not replicated or duplicated in my collection. But another reason why I really liked this palette is because Jamie listened to her viewers, and a lot of people didn't like that you had to use a glitter glue with some of her shimmer shades. So all 3 of these shimmers right here are the same formula as the Glimmer, the shade that I did like, where you don't need to put any kind of like base or primer or glitter topper down to adhere to. They're not as chunky, they're much more smooth, and I really find that I love this palette and I reach for it a ton. You can probably guess, if you know my collection, what the number one spot is, but the funny thing about the number one is I anti-hauled it. I said I wasn't going to get it, and I did not purchase it myself. Smegs purchased it for me, but it's the Natasha Denona Retro Palette. At first when I saw this, I was like, you know what? I love Natasha Denona, but I'm not gonna get this. I don't really need like these deep dark shades. I don't really need the reds and the burgundies. Smegs picked it up and loved it, and she was like, try mine. I tried hers, I created some looks, and I absolutely love it. This is a palette where ever since I got it a few months ago, I have to be honest, a few months ago around my birthday, I have used it nonstop. If I just need a quick and easy look for work, if I'm just throwing on some makeup real fast, this is the palette that I'm reaching for over all of the other palettes. I find myself just in love with the color story, the ease, the pigmentation, the blendability. I'm a huge Natasha Denona fan, and this color story really does it for me. So that is why this is in the number one spot. Welcome to today's video. We are here to rank all of the palettes that I tried in 2022. I believe I have 18 palettes. I have 17 sitting in front of me. One of them I did declutter and pass on to a friend, but I have the rest of them here in front of me, and I do have a couple palettes that maybe entered my collection, but they either entered my collection at the end of the year, and so I don't feel comfortable reviewing it in this video, or I just haven't had the chance to like try it out fully yet. So these are the 18 palettes that I feel confident ranking for you. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly, and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the KBella fam. Why don't we go ahead and jump into the video. In the number 18 spot, this is a palette that I did not like, that I would not recommend, that I do not think is good quality, and sadly it is by KBellaBeauty, Gwen Stefani's brand. This is the I See in Color Danger Zone palette. Now my husband picked this up for me when he was on spring break in New York, and he asked me what I wanted. I said I wanted to try this out, and looking at it, I thought it would be a fun color story. I thought it would be fun to do a smoky eye. You have a black with some glitters, you have a couple cool toned browns, and this matte shade. I thought this will be great. And then I created an eye look with it. First of all, you cannot see any of the shimmers in this black. It went on matte black, but it was also super patchy. It wasn't very pigmented. I created like a smoky eye look. I went out with some girlfriends, and by the time I was done filming and in my car driving to meet them for dinner, it looked like my eyeshadow had like patched and flaked off of my eye. So definitely don't recommend. I'm holding on to it. One, because I don't think it's very good quality, so I don't want to like give it to someone, but also my husband did pick it up for me, so it is a little sentimental that way, but I don't think the quality is the best. I'm already dropping palettes everywhere. In the number 17 spot, this is by Nomad Cosmetics. It is the Paradise Islands palette. Now this is solely in the number 17 spot because of the color story. This color story just is not for me. Nomad was kind enough to send this to me. They have a starfish program where you can nominate someone who you feel like is a starfish or creates good in the beauty community. My friend Kara C nominated me. I was sent this beautiful palette. I thought the quality was great. The shimmers were nice. The mattes felt blendable and creamy. It's just not my color story, but I think the artwork is gorgeous. I think the packaging is amazing. I'm going to hold on to it because if I do want to dip into color, we have some color in here. I'm just a neutral girl. So as we get down to the palettes that are closer to the top, you will see a theme here. I'm definitely a neutral girl, and I definitely have a type, and this one just isn't it. In the number 16 spot is this Pat McGrath Bridgerton palette. Now, to be fair, I purchased this at the beginning of 2022, and I haven't really used it a ton since. The reason being is I just feel like this color story isn't really me. Like, I really like these two shades. I think this one is good, so this trio is good, but I don't really reach into these two pink shades. This blue, while it's beautiful, it creates a nice look if you put it on top of a matte. I don't see myself wearing that for a day-to-day. Really, if I were to create a day-to-day look, it would probably be to put this in the crease and then that on the lid, put that in the inner corner. I think the quality is good. It just, again, for me, it's the color story. I don't find myself reaching for it. Anytime I have reached for it, it's because I'm making myself, not because I'm genuinely reaching for it. But I really like Bridgerton, and it's really nice packaging. It's a cute palette. It just wasn't a favorite for me. I think I'm getting the numbers right. I'm probably going to put them on the screen, but in the number 5 place is the palette that I no longer have, and it's by Patrick Ta. It's the Major Dimension 1 palette. Now, I have it written on my list as one that I got in 2022, although I think it released in 2021. Now, this palette, I didn't think it was bad. The color story definitely is much more my color story, but I felt like a lot of the shimmers were very toppery. I thought the cream shades worked well. I thought the mattes were super nice and blendable. And then you had maybe 2 shadows, shimmer shadows, that I felt like packed a punch, but the others were more of a topper shade. There was one weird shade that was kind of like a matte with shimmers in it that I didn't really know how to use. It was with the shimmer shades. And I just found that even though the color story was for me, I just wasn't reaching for it a ton. And for it to be that expensive of a palette, I wanted somebody to use it, so I passed it along. In the number 14 spot is this little mini by Natasha Denona. This is the mini retro palette. I have heard so many people rave about these minis, especially this mini retro right here. I thought the color story looked fun and cute. I picked it up. I just don't feel like it's the same Natasha Denona quality as you get in the middies. And so for that reason, you know, although it's fun, I find that this seems to be more of a topper shade, so you have 2 beautiful shimmers and 2 matte shades. I'm just not reaching for it a ton. I mean, I feel like it would be good for a day-to-day. You just throw that in the crease, that on top, that in the crease, that on top, put a little topper on it, but I don't find it to be the best quality out there, and it's just not a favorite. So for me, it's kind of ranking toward the bottom, but I mean, it is a cute little palette, and I wish I loved it more. People rave about it. I just don't find myself reaching for it a ton. Sigma was kind enough to send over their minis for me. You will not see the warm neutrals in this video because I haven't had a chance to try it fully yet, but I have tried the Sigma Enchanted palette, and while I think this is a super fun palette, you have a fun color story, this isn't a color story that I would reach for on a day-to-day basis. I think this Metamorphosis shade is really fun. It is more of like a topper shade, so if you go in with a matte and put a matte all over the lid and put that on top, or even one of these other shimmer shades, lay it on top, it does create a fun shift for you. I do like the Sigma formula. I think that their mattes are super nice and blendable. You do have these beautiful shimmer shades that pack a punch. This one is more of a satin. I really like a satin shade. And like I said, I think the color story is fun. It's just not one that I'm going to reach for often, so that's why it's ranking it toward the bottom. But I do like this palette. I think I'm on number 12. I might stop saying the numbers at this point because I don't want to get it wrong. But this one was not a new palette to 2022, but it was a new palette to me, and it is the Melt Brunette palette. Now, I fully expected to like this palette more than I do because if you look at the color story, it screams Kelly. I just feel like the quality is not the best. Love this color story. I think these shimmers are great. I just feel like I have to work a little bit harder when I'm blending the mattes. I have to go in a few extra times and really spray my brush when I'm working with the shimmers, and I just feel like it doesn't stand out when I use it on my eyes, and so for that reason, I don't find myself reaching for it a ton. I do still like the color story. I'm gonna keep it in my collection. I honestly need to play with it more. This would be a great like day-to-day work eyeshadow palette. I just feel like the quality isn't the best. And I've kind of heard that about Melt Cosmetics. You know, I've heard people say some of their eyeshadow palettes are hits and some are misses. I've heard good things about the brunette palette, and I've wanted to try Melt out for myself, but I have to say it didn't blow me away. Then we have the Odin's Eye and Jelle Nyquist collab, the Hella palette. I thought this palette is stunning. The artwork is absolutely beautiful. I am a friend of Angie, so I was super excited to be able to support her. I had been wanting to try Odin's Eye, and this color story, I feel like it's a great take on color, but safe enough for the neutral lover. So I do really like this palette. Again, it is a little bit more colorful than my taste, so I don't reach for this on a day-to-day, but you can create some nice neutral shades. Like if you dip into these, go in with one of these shimmers, or you can stick to the pinks. These shades on the bottom are very nice and deep and beautiful. You have this beautiful shifty shade. I do enjoy the quality of this palette. I think the shades are stunning. It's just one that I don't feel super comfortable with, and for that reason, that's why it's coming in kind of, I would say, midway in the rankings, because I do really like the palette. I'm not going to reach for this color story on my own very often. Then we have the Sigma Cor de Rosa palette. I was super excited to get my hands on this one because I have heard so many good things about this palette. I have heard so many of my friends rave about the Cor de Rosa, say that it's beautiful, the larger palette, but I'm kind of into smaller palettes, and this color story is just absolutely stunning. This one looks unused because it is. So Sigma sent it to me. Again, I did actually purchase the Cor de Rosa myself, and then when Sigma sent me a PR box, they did send me all 4 of their little minis, so this is one of the newer ones. But I really, really like this. The embossing is beautiful. I really like this matte shade. I like that you have a lighter matte shade, but then you have some deeper matte shades as well. All of the shimmers are stunning. Overall, great quality. Love the color story. This is a fantastic palette, and I would definitely recommend. This palette's coming in the middle of the ranking. It is not a favorite for me, although I know it is a favorite for a lot of people. This is the Huda Beauty Empowered palette. I wanted to love this palette more than I do, because when you look at it, it is absolutely stunning. You have some beautiful shades in there. You have some nice warm toned shades on this side. You have some cooler toned shades on this side. I really do enjoy bold moves. I really wanted to love Manifest. I wanted to love this deep gold shade. I really do enjoy Courageous here. Overall though, I find that the Huda Beauty formula is not my favorite. I don't find it to perform as well as some of the others. I found this Limitless shade to be very chunky and hard to deal with. I do want to try it again with a glitter primer and see if that sticks on better. I also had a hard time with Manifest. It swatched beautifully, it picked up on my finger beautifully, but trying to put it on my eyes was a little bit more challenging. This Bold Moves shade, it does look more of a champagne shade when you swatch it. I was hoping for more of a silver, but this one does swatch beautifully. I really like this Courageous shade. I created a nice, beautiful look with that, and that was one of the standouts here. The matte shades are great. I don't think that I will ever reach into these gel liners. I get what Huda Beauty was trying to do. She's known for doing things that are different, coming up with different textures and formulas, and I wanted to love this palette. I wanted to love it with my whole heart. I just don't. I think it's still good. I think there are still people who will really enjoy it. It just isn't a favorite for me. I was really excited to see Anastasia Beverly Hills coming out with more eyeshadow palettes again. This year she came out with the Nouveau palette. At first when I looked at it, I thought that's kind of a boring color story. Like, I don't really think it's for me. And then I was watching videos and then I got sucked in. It drew me in, and I really do think it's a great palette. I really love this Wings shade. This Belle shade is very unique. I love Hope. Lily is a beautiful rose gold shade. The mattes are nice. I haven't used Peacock or Muse yet, although they do look beautiful. It's fun to take Wisteria and have something a little bit different. I don't find this to be the same exact quality as some of her other shadows, although a lot of people say it feels the same to them. This one feels less powdery to me. I feel like ABH, if you think about some of the traditional ones like Modern Renaissance or Soft Glam or Sultry, they have more of a powdery texture. This one I feel like I don't get as much kick up, but I do still get kick up. Now, is this going to be a top favorite? It's not, but it is a fun palette and I'm glad to have it in my collection. Okay, I think I have 7 left. I think. So in the number 7 spot, I was really excited for this one. It is again by Nomad Cosmetics, the Hudson Valley palette. This one was also sent to me again in their Starfish program. They asked for people to nominate teachers, and if you don't know, I am a teacher, so I was nominated again. They sent this palette out to me. They asked me which one I wanted, and when this released, I was like, I want your new one. I want your new one. It is absolutely stunning. You have these cool vibes over here. You have these warm vibes over here. You have 3 beautiful shimmer shades. Typically, I wouldn't go for a palette that is so matte heavy because I do love a good shimmer, but I think this is really, really fun. I think the quality is great. I love the 2 looks that I created. They were super pigmented, which I love. You don't really have to fuss with it too much. You put it on, bam, you're gonna get some pigmentation, and I feel like this will be great for the fall time. So really love this palette and happy to have it in my collection. The top 6, I would say, are really truly favorites for me, palettes that I love, that I am enjoying, that I'm getting a lot of use out of. And in the number 6 spot is my first Mothership palette. This is the new one that she released in Moonlit Seduction. Very heavy duty. I love the Pat McGrath packaging. It is absolutely stunning. And I really like this color story because I feel like it is unique in my collection. It is not something that you see over and over and over again. You have these 3 fun matte shades. You have some nice shimmer shades, and then you have the special shades here. I do not get as much use out of this as I probably should, but I think it's a beautiful palette. Every time I create a look, I love the looks that I create, and I feel like this is really easy for work because all I have to do is throw like a matte in the crease, pick a shade to put on the lid, and it looks absolutely stunning. Every time I wear it, I am impressed, love the quality, and I just think it's a beautiful palette. We are in the top 5 now, and in the 5th spot is a palette by the brand Adept. Adept was a new brand to me, and they came out with their Amunet New palette, then they reformulated it. This is the reformulated one. This is known to be their more neutral palette. I love Adept Cosmetics since having tried them. I really feel like it's their shimmers for me. They have these beautiful multi-chrome shades. I don't know if you can see the shifts in the mirror there. They're absolutely stunning. I don't have anything like it in my collection. Every time I create looks with this eyeshadow palette, I just love the looks. I feel like the mattes they're nice, but they're not the standout. They're good quality, but they're not the best. But I can throw any of these mattes in the crease, throw on a beautiful shimmer shade. The shimmer is going to be the star of the show, and I really love this one. In the number 4 spot, in the number 4 spot, it is not a palette that is new this year last year in 2022, but it's new to me, and it is the ABH Soft Glam palette. I finally got my hands on this palette here, and I don't know what took me so long. I do not know what took me so long. This is definitely a Kelly color story. It's definitely the formula that I'm familiar with, that I love. You have some fan favorites in Dusty Rose, Tempera, Orange Soda, Burnt Orange, Sienna. Love the shimmer shades. So far, I've created several looks with it, and I've loved every single one, and I can see this being a staple in my collection. Number 3 might surprise you just because of my type, my neutral type of eyeshadows, but this is the palette that really started my love for Adept and kind of brought me out of my comfort zone, and it is the collab with my friend Heather Austin. This palette is absolutely beautiful. You look at it, it's not a Kelly color story whatsoever, but I find myself wanting to reach for it time and time again because of the shimmers. They are so impactful. You have these beautiful duochrome shades. They're nice and shifty. I just create beautiful looks every time I dip into it. I can throw one of the matte shades in the crease, go in with any one of the shimmers, and it's just absolutely stunning. I have fun with this palette. Like I said, it takes me out of my comfort zone. It makes me do things that are more creative, and every time I play with it, it's just so fun. So that's why it's in the number 3 spot. In the number 2 spot, I finally got to try out Lunar Beauty when Manny came out with his Nude Prism palette. I had been waiting for him to come out with a palette that I felt like was screaming my name, and this one really did it for me. This is my vibe. This is my color story. You have 2 beautiful rows of mattes. You have some lighter mattes and deeper mattes. Then you have this beautiful row of shimmers in the middle. So I feel like any of these can be a transition shade. Any of these can go in the outer corner to deepen up. Any of these can go on the lid. I reach for this time and time again. It's easy. It's go-to. Even though it's a larger palette, I don't have to think about it. I'm not a makeup artist. Oftentimes, if I have a large palette like this, I'm kind of trying to think like, what do I do? What can I pair together? I don't have to with this one. It's easy for me. It's easy to pair looks together. The shimmers are just absolutely stunning and amazing. The quality is great, and this is definitely going to be a staple in my collection for years to come. You may not be surprised by my number 1 pick, but I have been very vocal about the fact that Natasha Denona makes some of my absolute favorite eyeshadows of all time. The quality is impeccable, and Natasha came out with her My Dream palette this year, and it absolutely knocked my socks off. I love it so much. It's the same great formula. You have wonderful cream to matte shades. You can do anything from like taupey neutral shades to champagne. You have this super fun duochrome shift here. Can you see it in the mirror? I think you can see it in the mirror there. It looks purple here and green up there. You have this fun neutral shade, a bright orange. I just love the looks that I create every time I play with this palette. This is a palette where I reach for it so often that sometimes I have to tell myself, like, put it to the side. Use a different palette. You don't have to use this one again. But I love the formula. I love Natasha Denona. I love this palette. I love this color story. I love it. What can I say? I love it. If I think too much about this, I'm gonna overthink it, and if you ask me tomorrow, I may have a completely different order, but this is what we're gonna go with. It's Kelly. I am here with my ranking video. Ranking all of the palettes that I tried in 2023. I do have 21 palettes, I believe, sitting in front of me. I did technically have a 22nd palette like on its way to me, but I'm not going to be trying that palette until 2024, so we'll throw it in that video. So 21 palettes to talk about today. I am going to rank them from least favorite to most favorite, and let's just jump in. Wish me luck. Okay, in last place, in the 21st spot, and honestly, a palette that a palette that I probably will not keep in my collection for much longer. It is my Odin's Eye singles. In the beginning, I want to say like January of this year, Odin's Eye launched some of their single shadows. I purchased the palette and a few singles, and honestly, I just didn't love the quality. I found that they were a little bit tricky to get onto my eyes. I tend to have to use my finger over a brush. I get a lot of fallout, and they're just not my favorite, and since trying them in the beginning of the year, I've never reached for them. They just kind of sat in a drawer. So I have to say I don't love the formula of those singles, and I'm considering it one palette since I have 5 shades that I just put together, but definitely not a favorite for me this year. Hopefully I don't mess up the numbers, but in the 20th spot, also from Odin's Eye, is the Jewels and Gems palette. Now, when I purchased this, I purposely went with this color story. They released this one's Jewels and Gems, so what, Stone and Rock, which was the more green toned eyeshadow palette. I went with this one because of the color story. I knew that I didn't have a ton of like blues and purples in my collection, and I thought, you know what? If I'm going to purchase one of these palettes, let me pick one that I don't have repeated in my selection already multiple times over. So I went with this one, but again, I found that I just didn't love the shimmers in this formula. I thought the mattes were great, they performed well, they were super blendable, but a lot of these shimmers were again very difficult for me to get from the pan onto my eyes. I needed to use my finger. That's not my preferred method of applying shadow. I much prefer a brush. A lot of them had a ton of fallout, and they were just very sparkly and glittery. And honestly, I haven't used this since testing it out. I've thought about decluttering it. I probably will at some point, but again, I just love the Odin's Eye packaging. I think it's so stunning. Like, there's a person here. She's beautiful. The colors, I really do enjoy the color story here. I didn't love this palette the way that I wanted to. So for that reason, that is why it is in the 20th spot. Coming in at number 19 is one that I received in PR. I did purchase the 2 Odin's Eye palettes. I received the ColourPop Heavy Metal in PR, and I got this when I went to Charleston for the Creators and Friends Retreat in May. ColourPop was one of our sponsors. This was one of the palettes that they threw in our bag. I do like the ColourPop formula. I have several of their palettes. I've enjoyed them over the years. I think this one may be a pressed glitter, if I'm not mistaken. It looks kind of like a pressed glitter in Thrive, which is not my favorite. I just honestly have not really reached for this a ton. I tried it a few times, like while we were in Charleston and when I got back. I don't think the quality's bad. Some of the shades are super fun, but it's just not a color story that I reach for. So I don't think it's bad quality by any means, but it definitely is not one that has gotten a ton of use from me this year. So that's why I had to put it toward the end. In the number 18 spot is another one that I purchased from Nomad Cosmetics, and it is the Okavango Safari palette. I was excited when I saw this one from Nomad because I thought this is a Kelly color story. We have a ton of neutrals, we have some greens in there. If I'm gonna play with color, it's gonna be a purple or a green, and so I thought that this looked like the perfect palette for me. When I purchased it and tried it out, again, the mattes are great. Just like I said with Odin's Eye, I find the mattes are super pigmented, they're easy to blend. I get beautiful like color variations when I'm putting them together, but the shimmers are just lackluster for me for the same reason as the Odin's Eye. Now the Odin's Eye, I would say, are definitely a lot more glittery and sparkly. These ones are a little bit more muted, but again, I have to use my finger to apply them. I can get some fallout with them, and I just haven't found myself reaching for this palette, although I thought that it was a color story that I was going to love and appreciate. I'm just not reaching for it. So again, that is why it is toward the back of the pack there. I probably should have put sticky notes on these or something, but in the number 17 spot is the Allie Dawson collab. Allie came out with the Falling in Love, Falling for You? Falling for You. This is the Falling in Love palette. Is it the Falling in Love collection or Falling for You collection? Either way, the Falling in Love palette, I did purchase her collaboration. I wanted to support her. I thought the color story was fun for the fall, and it is. It's a great fall color story. For me though, these just aren't colors that I'm gonna reach for on a day-to-day if I'm trying to like get ready for work or go out with the kids. It's not like a quick and easy look for me. So while I felt like it was fine, the quality was good, I like the shimmer, it's a beautiful like neutral shimmer, you can kind of create a nice fall look with this. It's a great fall palette, but it's just that, a fall palette. So for me, that's why it is toward the back of the pack. I believe that was 17, so I think now we are on to 16. This was another palette that was gifted to me in PR. It is the Unearthly Don't Be Jelly palette. Now this one I did also receive at the Creators and Friends trip in Charleston, and this one, definitely not a Kelly color story, okay? If you look at these shades, like, this is not my typical everyday go-to look, but the shimmers. The quality of the shimmers in this palette is just impeccable and amazing. They are shifty, they are beautiful, they are pigmented. They have a lot of shine and sparkle, but not chunks of glitter that fall all over my face, which I really appreciate. So when I'm thinking of this palette, I'm typically thinking of the shimmers and dipping into the shimmers. I don't have mattes in this palette that I would typically reach for. They are a lot brighter and bolder. I go in with other mattes and then I will reach in for these shimmer shades, but the shimmers are definitely a standout for me, and I really love the Unearthly shimmer formula. In the number 15 spot, another palette that was gifted to me at that same Creators and Friends retreat by ColourPop was the Bare Necessities palette, and I did use this palette a ton when we were in Charleston because anybody else keep these plastic inserts? I always keep them because it has a wide variety of neutrals. This is definitely a literal Bare Necessities palette, okay? It is your necessities. The shades that, if you are like me and you are a neutral gal, these are the shades that I tend to reach for. The reason why this is in the 15th spot, because I think the formula is great. Again, I like their shimmer formula. I like the mattes formula. We have different rows. We have like a cooler toned row. We have one that's a little bit warmer, a mauve row, the deeper browns, and then like dark and smoky down here. I just don't reach for palettes that are quite this large. This is one that I like having in my collection because I can create a variety of looks with it, and all of the looks that I create are looks that I would love and that I would wear time and time again, but it's just such a large palette and I don't reach for large palettes that often. So this is a good one. I enjoy having it in my collection, but it's a little bit bigger than I'm going to reach for on a day today. Coming in at 14, now all of these, as we're working our way down from 14 down, these ones I do generally enjoy the formula. I was ranking these based on color story, and this is a perfect example because I love the Lunar Beauty formula. This is the Lunar Beauty Siren Sunset palette. I think the formula of Lunar Beauty is absolutely amazing. I've tried several of Manny's palettes now, and I just love them. But for me, this color story is a little bit deeper and darker than I would reach for on a day today. The top row, All About Me, Starfish, Sea Witch, Coastline, All About Me, these three. But when you get over to the greens and the deeper purples and the blues, it has to be, like, I have to be in the mood for color when I'm reaching for those palettes. Again, I love Manny's formula. I think the shimmers are amazing. I think the mattes are super blendable and creamy, but like, I'm not going to be wearing the Siren shade and Seductress on my eyes, like, on an everyday basis. It would be more so the top row for me. So that's why it's coming in at the number 14 spot. I mentioned not being impressed with the Nomad Ok Vango palette, but another palette that Nomad released this year that did impress me is this one right here. It's the Ghost Town USA palette. This one was gifted to me. I don't remember why I received it. Did I receive it as like a Starfish nomination? That might have been what happened. I had it listed in my phone as a gift, but I don't remember exactly why it was gifted to me. I would guess the Starfish palette because I don't get PR from Nomad, but I was super excited to try this one because, again, we have a variety of neutrals, like, and I almost feel like these could be 3 palettes in one, like a strip of 6 here, a strip of 6 here, a strip of 6 here. But again, you can also mix and match them. We have the greens that I love and enjoy. We have the neutrals that I love and enjoy. I wouldn't really reach for these gray blue shades very often, but I do love these 2 shimmers right here. The shimmers in this palette just performed differently for me. I felt like the Ok Vango Safari palette was a little bit lackluster. These performed great. I was able to go in with a brush. I got a lot of pigment. I liked the way that they performed, and the mattes were great. So that's why this one is coming in at the number 14 spot. Coming in at number 12 was another eyeshadow palette that was gifted to me. I received in PR from Sigma, the Beauty and the Beast collection. And I was super duper excited when I got the notification from Sigma that I had this collection coming to me because, first of all, the packaging is absolutely stunning, but I really do enjoy the Sigma formula. I think that they have a great mixture of different shimmer shades. They have some that are more toppers. They have some that are more of a satin shade. They have some that give you that wham bam in your face pigment like the My Cherie and Rose Petal, Enchantress, the Be Our Guest. Those are going to really pack a punch and be like beautiful, bright, shimmery shades. Winter's Night is a little bit more of a topper for me. Belle is a little bit more of a satin for me. The mattes really perform great, and I just really find this color story intriguing. It's a nice mixture of like neutrals and pops of color. I feel like they really did a great job kind of getting the full vibe of the Beauty and the Beast movie. I really love that movie. It's a classic for me, and I was super excited that Sigma sent this my way. I probably would have purchased it if they didn't, but I'm definitely happy to have this one in my collection. Coming in at number 11 is the Resurgence palette. This was a collaboration between my beautiful friend Heather Austin and Unearthly Cosmetics. First of all, let's just look at this packaging for a minute. Like, these beetles are holographic. It's a nice, sturdy, like cardboard packaging with a magnetic closure right here. That's why I'm doing this. I'm feeling the magnet. But it also is super cute because it opens like a book. It opens like a book. You have a nice big mirror there. And then again, I'm just going to hold it this way so that I don't blind you. I think Unearthly does shimmers amazingly. Like, their shimmers are really the standout for me. I felt like the mattes were great in this palette as well, but it's honestly the shimmers for me. Like, this Transformation shade is so beautiful and shifty. This Creation shade is like that blue-brown pigment from MAC. This shade right here in Solar Symbol, it looks peachy right here in the palette, but when you put it next to this pink Nymph shade, it just transforms into the most beautiful pink gold. I love this shade right here in Jewel. It is just like the perfect orange, but red. The thing that I really love about this palette also is that Heather and Amanda from Unearthly created these mattes to be able to like mix with each other. So you can mix Cosmology and Nymph together to get like a beautiful purple shade. I love this Cerambus. It's great in the crease for everything. This Life shade is more of a satin finish. You can mix it with the others to lighten it up, but it's also beautiful on the inner corner and all over the lid. I really think Heather and Amanda did an amazing job when they came up with this palette. It's absolutely beautiful. It performs so amazingly. The only reason why it is in the number 11 spot and not a little bit higher is just because the color story. I tend to be more into neutrals. This is like a special occasion palette for me, or a one and done. If I want to reach in here and just put a shimmer all over the lid, these shimmers are great for a one and done. But the color story is why it is ranked at number 11, because the quality is just amazing. The packaging is stunning, and I'm so proud of my friend Heather. I think my daughter finally fell asleep. My son's down for a nap, and I was trying to get my 4-year-old to like lay down because I'm filming this on Christmas Eve and we're going to a friend's house tonight, and you know, she's probably just gonna be too excited to sleep well at night, so I wanted her to take a nap, but she was fighting laying down. She's been laying down for about 40 minutes, and I think she finally fell asleep. Now we are into the top 10, I believe. I hope, I believe. We are in the top 10. And coming in at the number 10 is the palette that I have on my eyes today, and it is from Odin's Eye. This is the Snow Dream palette. When I tried out some Odin's Eye palettes in the beginning of the year, I just kind of felt like, you know, with their singles and with the Jewels and Gems palette, they felt a little bit lackluster to me. But as I started trying more and more Odin's Eye this year, the Snow Dream palette, it did really impress me. I've tried it later on in the year, but I did create a 3 looks video, so that is coming up, and I tried a variety of the shades, and I found that there are shades like Frankincense and Celebrate and Hugs and Mary and Tinsel that are more of those like very sparkly, crumbly shades that you need to apply with your finger. They're not going to pick up on a brush and you're going to get fallout, but that's okay. When I know that ahead of time, I can use them accordingly and create a beautiful look like this. Then there are the shimmer shades like Tradition and Magic and Sweater that are a little bit easier for me to manipulate. I can pick them up with a brush. We still have a ton of shimmer. I have Sweater on the middle part of my eye. You still have a ton of shimmer and bang for your buck, but they are a little bit easier for me to navigate. And then the mattes are wonderful. I feel like they're very blendable. I can definitely build them up or keep them more of like a sheer wash. And I like the color scheme here. This is one where it's again a mixture of like colors and neutral shades. It's a good quality palette and I've had fun playing with it. So that's why it's in the number 10 spot. Okay, so 10, 9, 8, 7. I kind of mushed them all together because, spoiler alert, they all are Odin's Eye palettes, and I found that I like them, I enjoy them, I'm reaching for them, and so I kind of ranked them based on color story. In the number 9 spot is a collaboration with my good friend Angie and Yella Kanikvist and Odin's Eye. They did a Halloween collab where they brought Hella back from Angie's Hella palette, but in a Halloween version. So this is the Little Ghost palette, and the Little Ghost palette is definitely a Halloween palette. You have the bright purples here, you have the oranges. I love the embossing that Odin's Eye does. I just think their packaging is like, there is no better packaging in my opinion. The quality, the colors, the detail that goes into it. I am obsessed with Odin's Eye packaging. I really love using this palette for this cobweb shade. It's beautiful for the inner corner. I love the skeleton shade to like blend everything out. These purples are amazing. This Boo shade, we were in Vegas for the Creators and Friends holiday party, and I looked at Angie's lids one day and I was like, oh my gosh, like what shadow is that? I love it. And she said, well, it's just Boo all over the lid. So I recreated that one day when I came home. So I really love to reach in for that. I don't reach into the oranges or blues a ton, which is why I put it in the number 9 spot. But I do really enjoy that palette. I am taking the plastic out and putting the plastic in as we go. In the number 8 spot is Angie's other collab that came out for Halloween, and it's the Trick or Treat palette. I do find that I use this one just a tiny bit more than the Little Ghost palette, because if you look at it, we do have like this neutral row, we do have some greens in here, some cranberries. I really like this shade Wicked to kind of set my eyeshadow primer down. This one just feels a little bit easier for me to use because it's a little bit more of like the neutral vibe. Okay, ignore these bright greens, right? But a little bit more of like a neutral vibe, or something that I would reach for more often than the purples. I do love to wear a purple shadow because purple is my favorite color, but it's not one that I'm reaching for day to day. Then we have the number 7 spot. Again, a collaboration between Odin's Eye and my friend Amanda, Makeup Just for Fun. This one is ranking higher than the others, again, for color story, because it's all the same great Odin's Eye quality, but this color story is a little bit more muted than the ones that you've seen. The ones that you've seen have been wham, bam, in your face, vibrant. This one we have a little bit more of the muted purple tones, we have a little bit more of the muted green tones, we have a neutral in here. This Dawn shade is great for the inner corner. This color story is a little bit safer for me, and so it still performs great like all of the other Odin's Eye palettes because it is a color story that feels a little safer for me. It's made its way a little higher up. Whew, okay, that was a doozy. Been filming for a while. This is why I don't wear my hair down. It keeps getting in my way. In the number 5 spot, it may surprise you because it's a little bit bolder than my natural taste. But it is the Unearthly Sorceress Smoke palette. I have been raving about indie eyeshadow shimmers. The shimmers really do it for me. I've talked about Unearthly, I've talked about the way that the shimmers do it for me, and this one is in the top 5 spot because I have these beautiful shimmer shades that I think are so stunning. They are just bam, they are in your face, they are giving me what I want to give me, and then again the wonderful mattes, but this is a little bit more of a neutral color story. Now it's neutral, but it is bold at the same time. You have these fun olivey green shades, you have these fun like peachy neutrals, these cooler tone neutrals. You have a bright like, is it purple? Is it blue? I don't know. Is it both? It's fun. You can create a lighter look with it. You can create a deeper look with it. And it's that great Unearthly formula. So I've been enjoying this one. I think I may have forgotten to mention as I got down to it, so let me just backtrack for just a moment. Resurgence was sent to me in PR from Heather and Unearthly. I purchased the Snow Dream palette. Angie's palettes were sent to me in PR from Angie and Odin's Eye. I did purchase the Flora Story palette, and then I did purchase the Sorceress Smoke palette. So coming in at the number 5 spot, these palettes were sent to me. Yes, I'm saying palettes because I'm going to lump them all together, but it's these little Sigma bite-size minis. Sigma came out with they were like dessert inspired, like French dessert inspired quads. There were 6 of them. I have 5 because I gave Smags the peach one. I let her pick which one she wanted. And I love these little quads. I have found lately that I'm into the smaller palettes. That's why I was saying the ColourPop Bare Necessities is great. It's neutral. It's my color story, but it was slower down because it is such a large palette. And on a day today, I'm a teacher. I teach 3rd grade. I'm a mom of 2 young kids. When I'm trying to get ready and I'm not filming, I tend to reach for smaller palettes like this. So that's why these are higher up. I reach for these a ton. I love the Sigma formula. This one right here is beautiful. This is Creme Brulee. Then we have this Blueberry Parfait, great for like a little smoky date night. We have a wonderful fall palette. This is Caramel Apple if you're into the greens. Then we have this beautiful like mauve quad in Bonbon. The one that I get the most out of though is this Tiramisu, which is like a cool toned neutral. So that was sent to me. Love those ones. Then in the, what number am I? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, somewhere along the line, I messed up my numbers. I messed up my numbers somewhere. I'm not quite sure where, but this would be 5. This would be 5. And then in the 4th spot, okay, Kelly, good job. In the 4th spot, Sigma. Angela Bright. This was sent to me as well. I was super duper excited to get this one sent to me because this one surprised me, honestly. I was not planning on purchasing this one because when I look at it, like these are bright, these are bold. And I was like, I just don't think I can do that. I don't think that I can get that bright and bold. And then it was sent to me from Sigma and I tried it out and honestly, like take these 4 out and this is like kind of neutral, right? You have a neutral quad there, okay, a gold, okay, a green. You have neutrals right here. And this has become a palette that honestly I reach for all the time because I like to reach in with the Bare shade to set my eyeshadow primer. I like to put Champagne Problems on the inner corner and I like to take Bright and put that in my brow bone. So this tends to be a companion palette that I'm reaching for even if I'm not using it to create my full look. And it really surprised me this year. The Sigma formula did not surprise me, but the color story and how much I love this palette surprised me a little bit. Coming in at the number 3 spot is my homegirl, Natasha Denona. Natasha Denona has my favorite formula. The Mini Dream palette is the one that I'm waiting for. I ordered it here in 2023, but I'll be trying that in 2024. Natasha came out with her I Need a Nude, and instantly I was like, this is a Kelly color story, so I had to order it. I love the Natasha formula. I've raved about it time and time again. It has to be like my favorite formula. I love everything about it. You have different kinds of shimmers, ones that are more sparkly, ones that are a little bit more of a satin, and this is my color story. I don't think this is my favorite Natasha Denona palette if I were to like put all of my palettes together, but I do really love this one, so that's why it is in the 3rd spot. In the 2nd spot, also from Natasha Denona, it is this mini right here in the Mini Starlit. I have kind of been hot and cold with these minis. I've been kind of impressed, but not fully impressed. I didn't love the retro the way that I wanted to, but I really love this Mini Starlit palette because again, when I'm creating a look, this look has a lot of shadows on it because I was filming and creating like a look to go with my video, but on a day today, like it's 2 or 3 shadows for me. That's it. Something in the crease, something on the lid, something on the inner corner, maybe something to deepen it out. So that's why this one beat out the I Need a Nude because in a pinch, in a rush, I'm going to be reaching for this one over that one. In the top spot, let me know what you think it is down below. Do you know my collection? Is there a palette that you're like, Kelly, you haven't talked about this one yet? Like, where is it? Where is it? I should go back and look at what my number 1 palette was from last year. I should have done that because I don't remember what it was. I don't remember. But the number 1 palette for this year, or at least for today, the number 1 palette for today is the Full Fantasy palette, which was a collaboration between Lunar Beauty and Laura Lee. I have not tried Laura Lee's brand, but these shadows perform like Lunar Beauty, like Manny's brand that I have come to know and love. I think the formulas are great. I love that you have a variety of neutral shades. We have like deeper smoky vibes over here. We have some fun golds. We have like the maroon mauve shades that I love, but I really love this Aries shade. This is the palette that I took with me to Vegas when I went to the Creators Friends holiday party, because I was like, you know what? I think I want to dip into the Aries shade. I think I want to do some of these mauves. But also we have like these fun neutrals. We have some shades that are a little bit sparklier, some that are a little bit more toned down. This has just been a palette that I have come to know and love. I like the versatility, I like the variety, I like that it's neutral friendly, but also some pops of color. You can do deep and smoky, but you also have some lighter shades. It's just really been a standout for me. I'm not surprised that it's a Lunar Beauty palette at the top, or a Lunar Beauty Laura Lee palette at the top, and I'm not surprised that it's this color story. So that's my number one. I've been putting off this video for a while, but today we are here to talk about all of the eyeshadow palettes that I tried in 2024. I have 27 eyeshadow palettes sitting in front of me, and I am prepared to rank them. Let's get started. First of all, hello, welcome, happy holidays. I have seen this video going around where it's time, y'all. It is time to rank the palettes that we have tried in 2024, and this year I feel like I've probably tried the most palettes out of any of my palette rankings. I'll have the other ones listed down below, but I've recently been placed on some PR lists, and so I've been getting palettes sent to me. I'm still purchasing palettes, and I have 27 to go through. I have ranked them from least favorite down to most favorite. I do have 3 palettes that are going to be excluded from the ranking today. We will talk about why as we get on into the video. I'll let you know what those palettes are. Let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so I did say I tried 27 palettes, but I'm only ranking 24 since I'm not ranking 3 of them. And in last place, this one was a disappointment. Now I'll let you know why I have each of these in this category, but I love Adept Cosmetics, and this year I purchased the Adept Legend of Ardra palette, and I have to say, I was really disappointed in this one because of the quality. Typically, I love Adept Cosmetics. I love their shimmer shades. I think they're sparkly and glitzy and shimmery and shiny and pigmented and beautiful. And so I purchased this because I was really excited about the color story. I was really excited about like these shimmer shades. We have 2 rows of shimmers, like right up my alley, right? And of course, if I have reviews on these, I'll list them down below. But ultimately, I found the shimmer shades to be very difficult to deal with. I couldn't apply them to my lids with a brush. I couldn't apply them to my lids with my finger. Like, it just wasn't the Adept quality that I know and love. And I mean, you can see there's a big dip here just simply because I was trying to pick up the product, and this was more of a jelly type of shadow. So anytime I touched it, there was like an indentation in it. We had these cool like shifty shades here. A lot of these shimmer shades were just toppers, and overall it just wasn't my style. I was pretty disappointed because this is an expensive palette, and I am going to be doing my palette declutter and like my entire eyeshadow palette collection here pretty soon. And I think sadly, this is going to be one that I'm decluttering because it just, as beautiful as it looks, the color story looks beautiful, the packaging looks beautiful, it just didn't perform in a way that worked for me. In the number 23 spot, not a lot of these palettes that I'm ranking I dislike, but I do also dislike the number 23, and this is from Natasha Denona. Now, I've been raving about Natasha Denona for years. I love their eyeshadow formula. Like, Natasha Denona is one of my favorite brands. This is the Hyper Natural Face Palette, and I will tell you, my friend Samantha March loves this palette. So this totally comes down to personal preference because these 5 shimmer shades are meant to be like one and done shadows. You have bronzer, you have blush, and you're supposed to be able to like create a full look with the bronzer, the blush, and then just throw a shimmer on the lid. I am not a one and done type of gal. In my head, I tell myself that I want to be. I want to be able to just apply one shadow, be good to go, but that doesn't end up being the case. I'm more of like a 2 or 3 shadow kind of gal, and so I think the quality is fine. This one's much more of a topper, not quite as pigmented. The quality of the shadows are good, the bronzer and blush are good, but it's just not my personal taste, my personal preference. So that puts this in the number 23 spot. Again, this is probably one that's going to get decluttered, and it was a disappointment because I love Natasha Denona and I wanted to love like an all-in-one palette, and I did enjoy the bronzer and blush, but sadly this is one that's just been sitting in my collection untouched and unused. So that's coming in at the number 23 spot, the Natasha Denona Hyper Natural Face Palette. When I go to do my declutters, you'll probably see those two being decluttered, I would imagine. I haven't done it yet. Coming in at the number 22 spot is one that I kind of feel the same about the quality, but I don't think I'm going to declutter it just yet. And this is the Huda Beauty Icy Nude Palette. This is an unpopular opinion. A lot of people love the Huda Beauty formula. My friend Molly, Makeup Molly included, she loves Huda Beauty. I know this about myself, that I don't love her larger palettes. I've tried some of her smaller palettes and I've enjoyed those. I know that I don't love her larger palette formula, but I was sucked in by this one because, first of all, Huda Beauty is saying this is going to be her last large palette, and I love the color story. I love that you have like a cooler section, you have some warmer tones over here, but mostly a cool palette. Icy shades, supposed to be like icy nude, icy neutral. That's my vibe, a great winter palette. But for me, a lot of these shimmers are a little bit on the chunky side, hard to deal with. We have like this weird pressed glitter that's supposed to be biodegradable. I think the mattes are great, but again, it's the Huda Beauty shimmers for me. I just find them to be difficult to deal with. I don't prefer to put a shimmer on my lid with my finger. That's how I feel like these shadows best apply, is if you're using your finger. I prefer a blush. I did have some issues with fallout, like I said, not into this pressed glitter here. This one didn't really show up. It's not a palette that I love overall, which is why it's in the number 22 spot. It's not one that I'm quite ready to declutter because it is a little bit newer in my collection. I want to use it some more. I want to try it some more. I want to get some more use out of it. But I can imagine that this may be one that gets decluttered in the future. So stay tuned for that. So the Adept and the Natasha, definitely don't like. Definitely don't want to keep those around. Huda Beauty, not my favorite, but not a hate. And that's kind of how I'm feeling about this palette that's coming in the 21 spot. This is from Smashbox. It's Cozy Vibes. This was sent to me by a friend after she got this in PR. Now, Smashbox came out with several of these little, these are little tiny baby palettes. Look at that, y'all. It fits in the palm of my hand. This is a tiny palette, and the pans are very small, okay? So my friend sent this to me. She was like, do you want to try it out? I love neutrals. I love browns. It's cozy. Cozy Vibes fits the name. I don't think that this is a bad palette, but I just feel meh about it. Love the color story, love the brown neutrals. The quality is just okay. I wouldn't say it's the best quality ever. I wouldn't say it's my least favorite quality ever, but it's just a meh palette for me. And this is one that I imagine I will probably declutter when I do my whole collection and declutter series, simply for the fact that I have better quality shadows in my collection. I have shadows that I'm reaching for in my collection, and I feel like I have friends or family members in my life who may enjoy this one and get more use out of it than I will, because like I said, not terrible, not horrible, but also just not the best. So Smashbox, Cozy Vibes. Now we're getting into the territory of, honestly, personal preference. A lot of the palettes that are coming up next, my bottom 20, my next 20, my top 20, I don't know how you want to call it, but the next 20 eyeshadow palettes that I'm going to talk about, I do generally like the quality and the formula of each of these. I was ranking them based on color story alone. And so coming in the number 20 spot is this one from Nomad Cosmetics. You're going to see a lot of Nomad palettes in here because I did recently get put on their PR list. I love Nomad Cosmetics. I have purchased several of their palettes to begin with, and they sent me these travel palettes. So this is the Nomad Air Canadian Rockies Travel Eyeshadow Palette. Now, I love the Nomad formula. I think the formula and the quality is great. I think these little travel palettes are spectacular. 6 eyeshadows. You have some bright, shifty shimmers here. You have some mattes. But at the end of the day, this is not a color story that I'm going to be wearing often, okay? Blues are not my favorite. I don't typically reach for a blue unless I'm creating a look for YouTube, to be honest. Like in my day-to-day life, I'm not going to be like, let me throw a blue eyeshadow on. This green is very pretty. This would have been pretty for Christmas, but like Christmas, I just sit at home with my family, no makeup on, sweatpants, you know what I mean? So super cute palette. Love this one. Love the size of it. Not quite as tiny as the Smashbox, but it's a small one. Although you have a nice size pan, you have a mirror in here. I think this is great quality. This is just in the number 20 spot because of the color story. Coming in at number 19 is this one from Sigma Beauty. This is the Little Mermaid collection. Sigma collaborated with Disney. Last year they had a Beauty and the Beast. This year they had a Little Mermaid. There's this super cute insert. I like to save these little inserts. This palette I thought was super fun. I do enjoy the Sigma formula. I feel like some palettes are better than others. The quality of some shadows are better than others. I thought this one was fantastic. I played with it. I had a great time playing with it. I have a whole video on this entire collection. I think this Jumpin' Jellyfish is super fun. It's like a shifty duochrome there. I think this one underneath it, Swimming, beautiful voice, like that's fun. This one right here in Scroll is super fun. But again, this is the color story that gets me. I created such a fun, beautiful mermaid look with this eyeshadow palette, and I really did enjoy it. I thought it was spectacular. I thought the quality was amazing, but this is one that I don't reach for a ton simply because of the color story. So if you like bright and colorful mermaid vibes, this is fantastic. I love it. Just not my typical color story. Coming in at number 18 is another Nomad palette. Again, another colorful palette. This is the Nomad Keys Beachy and Peachy palette based off of the Florida Keys. This is what it looks like right here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Like tropical vibes, y'all. The thing that's fun about this is you kind of have more of like the pastel-y shades over here. You have these bright blues and oranges, but I just got done telling you that like blues aren't my color story, and this definitely fits Florida Keys, y'all. This gives me tropical vibes. Everything from the packaging with the flamingos, you have some drinks on here, you have my like these perfect, okay, right? Tropical, perfect, beautiful. The color story is so fun. I had a lot of fun playing with this one. The quality is amazing. It's just, for me, this is not one that I reach into when I'm like, okay, let me throw my makeup on for fun today. This is one that I reach into when I'm like, okay, I want to create something colorful. I want to create something pastel, more so if I'm like filming or doing something specific. So this is a fun one, but this is coming in at the number 18 spot. I hope the lighting is okay. It's kind of gloomy and stormy here in Houston today, but we're gonna make it work. Coming in at number 17 is another Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette. I filmed a video this year where I was testing out some of your favorite YouTubers' favorite products, and my friend Kara, Beauty and the Frizz, told me that she absolutely loves this Xenon palette from Natasha Denona. So I purchased it and I tried it out. When you look at this, y'all, this is a very specific color story, okay? Grays, blacks, you have this snowboat shade that some people say is a pink. To me, it's still more like an icy shade, okay? This is going to give you very smoky vibes. If you're going for a smoky eye, this is fantastic. You can stick with more of the blacks, you can stick with more of the silvers. I feel like this would be a great winter palette if you're trying to create something icy, snowy, deep. The quality is spectacular. This is a Natasha Denona palette that I know and love. This is 100% in the number 17 spot because of the color story. I don't wear a smoky eye often. If I am gonna wear a smoky eye, I'm gonna reach for this palette, but that's not something that I'm typically going for in my day-to-day life, so that's why it's coming in at 17. Coming in the number 16 spot is another Disney collab, but this time it is with ColourPop. ColourPop came out with a Beauty and the Beast palette. When I got this one, I purchased this one myself. I purchased the Natasha Denona myself, but I did a video where I was talking about this and I mentioned the Sigma Beauty and the Beast collab in that video if you're interested. Look at how cute this packaging is. I definitely got this one more so for like the nostalgia. This is one that if my daughter was a little bit older, I'd probably give it to her and be like, oh my gosh, play with it. It's so cute. This is for you. I wanted to try it out. I think the color story, y'all, it's so cute. It's mostly neutral. You have these rosy vibes. You have some shimmers here. You have this pink forbidden shade, some blue. I feel like it fits with the theme. I like ColourPop shadows. I think they're good quality, not just good for the price, but they're good quality. Not my favorite, but it's good. And I think this color story is fun. It performed great. I like the palette overall. This is one where I prefer some other palettes and shadows over this one. I played with it initially and I just have too much eyeshadow in my collection. We're not gonna let my husband know that I said that, but I have too much eyeshadow in my collection, so I haven't really reached for this one again, but I think it's super cute. So the next two, 15 and 14, they could kind of be lumped together, but I did separate them into their own categories. So number 15 is this mini from Natasha Denona. This is the mini rose palette. Now I do have several of these mini rose palettes. I do like a smaller palette. I'm into smaller palettes. I think they're fantastic. They're great for travel. It gives you a little bit of everything. You have a lighter shade, a deeper shade, some rosy vibes. The quality, again, Natasha Denona. I love Natasha Denona shadows. I feel like this quality is good. Like overall, I really like this palette, but it's coming in the middle of the road because I just find myself in my head thinking that I'm gonna use these more than I actually do. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm gonna use these a ton, but then when the time comes, they kind of sit in my collection and they're kind of untouched. So this one was the mini rose, and then I said, you know, 14 and 15 could kind of go together. This one is the number 14 spot. This is the My Mini Dream. And I think that this was the first eyeshadow palette that I tried in 2024 this year. And this one is a little bit more on the neutral side, whereas the mini rose is a little bit warmer, definitely more of rosy vibes. This one is a little bit more neutral. I wouldn't quite say warm toned, I wouldn't quite say cool toned. I feel like it is pretty neutral. You have these brown shades, two shimmer shades that are very similar in texture. I feel like I used it a lot when I first got it, but again, these little Natasha Denonas, like I said, I keep getting them because in my head, I'm like, it's perfect, you can travel with it, they're small, they're compact, they don't take up a lot of space, but at the end of the day, I find that I'm just really not reaching for these a ton, so I probably should stop buying them. Coming in the number 13 spot is another one from Nomad Cosmetics that was sent to me. And this one is the Fuji 5 Lakes color palette. This packaging is absolutely amazing. It literally feels like a canvas, y'all. Like I can feel the texture. This is their fall palette. Definitely gives me fall vibes. You have Mount Fuji here in the background. Absolutely stunning. The packaging for this palette is like 10 out of 10 for me. I love it. It's probably some of my favorite packaging. Like just Nomad is super creative. They're a travel-based indie eyeshadow brand if you're not familiar, and they're based out of Texas like me, love that, but their packaging is very unique and I love that about it. So this one, again, it is just color story. I think the quality is fantastic. I think the shadows are fantastic. I enjoyed the looks that I created with this palette, but we have some like yellows and blues over here. We have some more blues. We have some reds. I really enjoy this shimmer shade right here in Pampas Grass. I created a ton of fun looks, but this 100% quality is fantastic. It's coming in the middle of the road simply because of the color story. Coming in the number 12 spot is a new eyeshadow brand to me. I tried Fantasy Cosmetica this year. I did purchase these myself. This is the Druid palette or Droid palette. I'm not 100% how you say it. I do believe Fantasy Cosmetica is based on gaming and I'm not into video gaming, but I wanted to purchase some Fantasy Cosmetica after going to Austin for SAMG weekend. I got to meet Jordan from Fantasy Cosmetica and I wanted to support and I wanted to try out her eyeshadow formula, and I will tell you, I think the formula is amazing. Super shimmery, super pigmented, like boom, bam, in your face. The quality is fantastic. These shades are very deep and vamp. Like look at this shimmer shade right here. Can you see it? Absolutely stunning. It's just that these shades are deep and vampy. I definitely have a time and a place for this palette. There are times when I want to be deep and vampy. I love the green, like mossy vibes. I created some fabulous looks with this. I think this is overall a great palette, a great introduction for Fantasy Cosmetica. This palette is one of her best-selling palettes, I believe, but it is coming in the number 12 space because it is so deep and vampy and rich that I go for like more simple looks these days, but I love this one. Coming in the number 11 spot is another palette that was sent to me from Nomad Cosmetics, and it's another one of their travel palettes. This was the Nomad Air. It came out with the Canadian Rockies one. This is the Abu Dhabi palette. Definitely very warm. Desert vibes, rich. I love how you have kind of this trio down here, this trio up here. I created a very warm, fiery look with this one. Again, Nomad quality is fantastic. This palette is so cute. I love the travel vibes. I love that it's small and compact, and you have a mirror shimmer, and I felt like these shimmers were just amazing. They performed spectacularly, but this is definitely one where you're only going to create one or two looks that look very similar if you're using this palette alone. And so I just don't reach for it a ton. It is very, very warm. I'm kind of in my cool toned era, but overall this is a great palette, so it came in the number 11 spot. Now we're in the top 10, y'all. I love all of these, and honestly, if you were to ask me in a month, if you were to ask me in a week, I might rank these totally different, but I feel pretty solid about my top 10. Like, I love these palettes. I've used them a bunch. I think they're fantastic, and I would really recommend all of them. So we're just gonna go ahead and dive in with like how I ranked my top 10. Coming in the number 10 spot is one of the newest palette. The newest palette from Nomad Cosmetics, the Polar Express palette. They did send this to me. Again, I'm talking about the packaging, y'all. Like, Nomad knows how to make such creative packaging. This is the outer carton, and I'm definitely keeping the outer carton because when you pull it out, you can see here it was the train from the inside of the Polar Express. Such a fun Christmas movie. I'm a teacher if you don't know, and so we always have like Polar Express Day at school. My kids love the Polar Express movie, and this is just such a fun one. Definitely a holiday palette, definitely winter vibes. The quality is fantastic. This Polar Express shade, can you see? It shifts like blue, purple. So cool, so creative, so unique. These shadows are very pigmented, very creamy, very blendable. I loved playing with this one. It feels a little bit easier for me to use, honestly, because of these neutral shades right here. Because I did say, like, I don't love the blues, but I like these kind of icy silver whites, and these neutrals make it really easy and wearable. That's how it got lower down on the list than some of the other palettes that had blue shadow in it. So this is a fun one, Nomad Polar Express. Coming in at number 9 is the other Fantasy Cosmetica palette that I did purchase myself this year, and it's the Fighter palette. I was talking to my friend Amanda, Makeup Just for Fun. She collaborated with Fantasy Cosmetica this year, and I was asking her like what palette she thought she could see me using, and she was definitely like, I think you would like the Fighter palette. And so, you know, my little neutral heart purchased it, and I think it's fantastic. Of course, I can see why Amanda recommended this to me. You have these brown shades that are easy for me to work with. You have these bright shimmer shades here in Fervor and Victory. It's kind of more of like this safe, neutral copper red tone. You do have this fun Glory shade right here, which is very shifty. You do have some silver and gray tones. I also really love this shade Might, which is like a purple gold shift. Purple is my favorite color. I love this palette. Again, it's a little bit more of like deeper, smokier, vampier vibes, which is why it's coming in the number 8 and not necessarily the top 5, but the quality is amazing. Super blendable, super creamy, super pigmented, nothing bad to say about it. Okay, so I've been talking about Nomad palettes that have been sent to me, but coming in the number 8 spot is a Nomad palette that I purchased myself, and it is this one right here, the Ireland Wild Atlantic Way. This is, of course, inspired by Ireland, which is why you have tons of greens and golds. My red hair goes great with greens and golds. I purchased this one because I thought it was fun. I would love to go to Ireland someday. My heritage is Irish, amongst a lot of other things, but I do have a little bit of Irish in me, luck of the Irish, so I thought this was super fun. I really love this Savage Beauty shade right here. I really love like some of these greens, this green right here. This one is like a green blue, which is fun. You also have like some gold shades. This one is a little bit easier for me to use because if I'm going to dip into color, it's typically going to be green or purple. But you have the golds, you have some neutral shades. I really liked this one. Again, like when I'm telling you, the Nomad packaging is so unique every time. It's just so fitting. There's a nice mirror in here. It's so fitting for Ireland, and I love this one. Coming in the number 7 spot is the last of the Nomad Air travel palettes. This one is the Oslo palette. Oslo Garden, the Oslo palette. It's telling me the airport, but I can't pronounce that. Anyway, cool tone vibes, neutral, fun, easy, safe for me. I love the quality. The 3 Nomad Air palettes came out together. This one is definitely my favorite. The quality of all of them is spectacular and amazing and fun, but this one is just more of a neutral vibe. I really like this Democratic Design shade. It's almost like a cool toned, like cool rosy tone, if you know what I mean. This one is more of a silver shade, but if you pair like this natural shade with Democratic Design, you get almost like this cool toned rosy vibe. I feel like those two don't really go together, cool toned and rosy, but that works. It works with this palette. So I love this one. This is coming in the number 7 spot. Definitely a fun, easy one if you're looking for something natural, neutral, and simple. Coming in the number 6 spot is another Nomad palette that I purchased myself. Not a new palette, but it's the Nomad Haunted Europe palette. Haunted Europe is one of the palettes that I think Nomad is most known for. It released a couple years ago. They re-released it this year around Halloween time. I do have the Ghost Town USA, and those re-released again together this year. And so I decided to get Haunted Europe to see what all of the talk was about. I mean, look at this, like, so creative, right? But it's the color story inside that is definitely giving me Halloween vibes, spooky vibes. Again, we have like this kind of 9-pan palette over here, which is green and orange and gold, a little bit warmer. And then over here you have these deeper like witchy vibes, right? With the purple and the magenta and some silvers and cool tones. And together it's just a really fun palette. I loved the looks that I created with this one. I can definitely see like Halloween vibes, spooky season, fall vibes. I will for sure be pulling this one out again in the fall season, but I just loved it. I had so much fun with it, and I'm glad that I added this one to my collection. I want to pause here for a minute before I get into the top 5, because I did mention that there were 3 eyeshadow palettes that I got this year that I wasn't going to be ranking, and so I want to talk about those right now, and I want to talk about why I'm not ranking them. So all 3 of these palettes are like influencer palettes. So we have the Adept Amy Loves collaboration. We have the Fantasy Cosmetica Makeup Just for Fun Enchanted Autumn collection. And then we have the Singe Beauty Galactic Visitor. Singe Beauty is a makeup brand owned by Angelica Nyqvist. She is one of my besties here. Like, we've been friends for a few years now. She created Singe Beauty. And I decided this year, in years past, I think I did like rank influencer collabs or influencer brand palettes in my ranking, but I decided not to this year because I feel like I love all of these palettes, but I love the people behind them. I know Amy, I know Amanda, I know Angie, and so I just feel like I would be partial. Like, of course, these would be like my top 3 palettes. Like, hello, duh, they would be my top 3. So I do want to take the time to like talk about them a little bit. I did just recently do a whole review on the Galactic Visitor palette from Singe Beauty. I am so proud of Angie. I know she worked so incredibly hard on this palette, and I love how it's a mixture of like her with her colorful vibes, but there are also some neutral shades in here. I am a neutral lover. Angie is a colorful queen, and I feel like you get the best of both worlds here. Like, you get, I know Angie loves the blues, you have the warm tone shades up here. I really love this Milky Way shade. Like, yes, give it to me. Milky Way with Orbit is stunning. Encounter is a beautiful shifty shade. The thing that I love about this palette is how this is a great way for a neutral lover like me to play with color. These colors are a little bit safer. You have some minty greens here, of course, this bright blue. Angie loves blue. But these top 2 rows, like, neutral looks all day. I created 4 looks with this palette, so you should definitely check that out if you want to see like a neutral twist. And of course, check out Angie's channel if you want to see how she plays with color. But this is fantastic. I knew that it would be fantastic. Angie is very picky, and she is not afraid to tell you if she does or does not like something. So I knew that whatever she came out with would be fantastic, and I'm so incredibly proud of her. And I, of course, would recommend that everybody purchase Galactic Visitor, because I mean, look at the packaging. It's fantastic. Then we have my friend Amanda, Makeup Just for Fun. When I went to CMG weekend in Austin in the beginning of the year, no, it was June. In the beginning of summer, Amanda, Makeup Just for Fun, she came down, she stayed at my house, we got to hang out, we road tripped together, and that was when she was telling me all about her collab with Fantasy Cosmetica, the Enchanted Autumn collection. First of all, I love Amanda. I love Angie. That's why I feel like I can't rank their palettes, because I love them so much that of course I would love anything that they do. But if I take Amanda out of this, I mean, look at this stunning artwork. Like, this is absolutely amazing. This came out as a fall palette. I love fall vibes, but look at the inside, y'all. Like, this is delicious goodness, richness. This was what kind of was introducing me to Fantasy Cosmetica. I was like, tell me more, because their formula is amazing. Amazing. Of course, this would be one of my top palettes of the year, like duh, but there's a Scorpio shade. Shout out to me, all of the Scorpios, October birthday. You have these rich greens. You can create a neutral shade with these golds right here. You have fun purple, a silver. I love all of the looks that I created with this palette. Definitely very fall vibes. Again, the Fantasy Cosmetica formula is amazing. And Amanda's amazing. So I knew that I should expect nothing less than like fantastic goodness with this collab. And the last palette that I won't be ranking, now Fantasy Cosmetica and Amanda and Angie, they did have the Enchanted Autumn and the Singe Beauty Galactic Visitor sent to me, but I purchased the Adept Amy Loves collection myself because I wanted to support Amy, and I love Adept shadows. I think this is absolutely beautiful and stunning. Although I talked about the Legend of Ardra palette and how I didn't love that formula, this formula is absolutely fantastic. Amy did a great job with Adept. This is like a cool toned dream. We have so many shimmers. I love shimmers. I'm shimmer heavy. Like Angie loves mattes. She likes more matte heavy. I love shimmers. This is me. Look at this lavender shade. Look at this Pisces shade. I love this caramel shade. If you're going, like this is not even doing it justice. If you're going for more of a neutral look, you don't have that many mattes. You have 5 mattes, which I think is fine. I think 5 is fine. You can build them up. You can sheer them out. Like it works great with my fair skin tone, but it's the shimmers for me. This is the Adept shimmer formula that I know and love. I have been reaching for this palette nonstop since I purchased it. Well worth the money. So proud of Amy and Adept. I know that they worked really, really hard on it. This is the Adept formula that I know and love. So like if you want to go purchase an Adept palette, like purchase this one. Now let's get into the top 5, and I really hope my lighting is okay. It's super dark and dreary, and it was not like that when I was getting ready to film. Okay, coming in at the number 5 spot. This one might be a hot take because it was like kind of new but not new in 2024, and like kind of new to me but not new to me in 2024. I'm talking about the Urban Decay Naked palette. Like this is not new. This is not new, y'all. Urban Decay Naked palette has been around for like ever, right? But then Urban Decay discontinued it. I had it back in the day. It was my first high-end palette. I decluttered it and then they discontinued it, and I had major FOMO and regret. So when they re-released the Naked palette, I was like, yes, give it to me. I need to have it back in my collection. This is in the top 5. Is this a palette and a color story that I'm reaching for on the daily? Not really, but I still love to play with it. I love this Virgin shade for like my brow bone or to like set my eyeshadow primer. I really like this Sin shade for an inner corner. These are great neutral shades. I feel like this is a staple palette. This is a great beginner palette. If you have someone in your life who loves neutrals, or they're not a makeup lover but they're looking for some kind of makeup or something easy, work makeup, Urban Decay Naked palette is like fantastic. So I still wanted to put it in here because like this one I purchased in 2024. It was re-released in 2024, but not really a new one. Coming in the number 4 spot, I actually forgot that I purchased this one this year. For some reason, I was thinking that it was a fall palette, and maybe just because the color story gives me fall vibes, but it's the Lunar Beauty Moonshroom collection. I actually think this came out in this spring, but you'll see when I open it why I'm saying it gives me fall vibes. Like, look at these like browns, mossy, rich shades, these shimmers. You have this fun pop of purple here. Like, this feels like a fall palette to me. I feel like it should have been released like last year in the fall, but nonetheless, it came out in the spring. I love the Lunar Beauty formula. I think it's great quality. Although I am a shimmer girl, this is very matte heavy, but I like the way you have like lighter mattes and then deeper mattes. And I almost like how you could kind of do these trios if you really wanted to and use it as a trio to kind of give yourself like a little pop, something easy. I love how it's fun and neutral, but there are also these pops of color like Magic Mushroom, Witch's Hat. You have this fun shade right here in Pixie Pop. This is just, it's a really creative collection. I think Lunar Beauty is another brand like Nomad who does a great job, like 10 out of 10 with their packaging. You have the moon is raised here, you have a little pixie, you have the moon shroom, the butterfly. Like, this is fantastic. Fantastic, fantastic packaging. I love it. Coming in at number 4. Okay, number 3 surprised me, y'all. It did. It surprised me. I did not purchase this. It was sent to me by a friend after I didn't purchase it. I did not purchase the Too Faced Aptly in Love palette. These tin palettes always get me because the color stories, I'm like, yes, give it to me. I want it. And then I purchase them and then they sit on a shelf. So I was like, I'm not gonna get Apple in Love. And then my friend reached out to me and said, hey, I have an extra, do you want it? And I was like, actually, yeah, go ahead and send that to me. I did a video where I created 4 looks, 2 using the Apple in Love, 2 using the Polar Express palette because they weren't new at the time when I was filming. And like I fell in love with it. Like I want to play with it again. You almost have like Christmas vibes over here. You have some fun neutral vibes. It could be more fall. It could be more winter. Like you have a wide variety. It smells good. Not super strong, almost like a faint apple smell. If you're sensitive to scents, I don't think that you would be bothered by this one. But I really like this Slice Baby shade. It's fun. This gold is fun. Like, I just had fun playing with it. Too Faced isn't like my favorite formula of eyeshadows, but I think the formula is good in this one. I love the color story. Like, I am just as shocked as you that a palette that I passed on is my number 3. Coming in the number 2 spot, this was sent to me, and I went back and forth between this one and the number 1 on which one should be 1 and which one should be 2, and depending on the day I might change them around. But this is the Nomad Chicago Speakeasy palette. Y'all, again, look at the packaging. It's like velvet packaging with the red and the gold, speakeasy vibes. Love it. I love Chicago, but I love this color story, y'all. This color story is so fun. We have trios here. I created 5 looks and I used like each of these trios together because when I got this palette, I was getting ready to go to Michigan with my friend Molly. We did a get ready with me using this palette together, but I took this with me. I wasn't able to create like a dedicated video. And then I told you guys that when I did create a dedicated video, it was gonna take me some time because I wanted to use the trios. I loved all of the looks that I created. Formula is amazing. Shifty, shadowy goodness. I love the purple vibes over here. I love the neutral. These greens are super fun. Like overall, this is one of my favorite Nomad palettes that I've tried, and I absolutely love everything about it. So it's coming in the number 2 spot. Number 1. Now, if we talk about 1 and 2, I said that I didn't know if I was going to put this as 1 or 2. This one ended up being 2 because the number 1 tends to be much more of a go-to for me. I don't think that it's quite as fun as the Chicago Speakeasy, but I'm talking about the Natasha Denona Golden palette. We all know I love Natasha Denona. The formula is absolutely fantastic, but this golden palette has been a go-to for me. A go-to for weddings, a go-to for Christmas looks, a go-to for when I was traveling. I took this to Austin for CMG weekend. This has been a go-to for me. I have a light shade that I can set all over the crease. We have this deeper shade if I want to deepen my outer corner. We have a wide variety of like golds and browns, and some people may call it boring. They may. Maybe it is boring. Maybe I'm a little boring, but I love this one. I think that it's absolutely fantastic. I have gotten so much use out of this. I have used it a ton, and that's why I had to put it in the number 1 spot because it's probably my most used. I use it when I'm on camera. I use it when I'm off camera. I've used it when I wanted to travel. When I don't know what I want to do, I reach into this one. So it just felt fitting. It felt fitting that Natasha Denona should be in the number 1 spot. Well, hello my loves, and welcome to day 6 of my 7 days of Christmas here on my YouTube channel. If you are just now tuning in, every day for the next 7 days leading up to Christmas, I am going to give you an upload. Today we are focusing on the eyeshadow palettes that I have tried in 2025. I believe I have 14. Let me double check. Yes, I have 14 palettes here in front of me that I have tried in 2025, which is down from years past, and I think that's a good thing. I've just recently gone through a declutter, but I am ready to share my thoughts and reviews on these palettes, maybe declutter some, we'll see, and let you know what I think. So let's just go ahead and dive in. Okay, so coming in at number 14, this kind of hurts my heart a little bit because it was a gift from my husband, but it is this palette right here from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Sugar palette. I believe it came out holiday time last year, and it came as the Sugar and Spice palette. This was one of my Christmas gifts, and y'all, my husband went in store to pick this up, and even with him going in store, I don't know if you can tell, this shade was broken. Actually, it looks like all of my shimmers. This shade and these 3 shades in the middle all came shattered, and I just used my finger to like lightly press them in. I didn't even use alcohol or anything. Then you have like 2 kind of matte matte shades with sparkle in them, matte shades with shimmer, and then you have 3 other mattes. Now I love the idea of this, sugar and spice, super cute. I typically love Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadows, but this one, I did use it once, maybe twice, but I just didn't find myself wanting to use it because of the fact that it came shattered and broken. I thought the mattes performed fine, but these shimmers are more like shimmer toppers, and I like more of a boom bam in your face type of shimmer, so it just did not perform well for me. It's very messy. It's one that, of course, I've held on to, and I'm going to continue holding on to it, just like I said, because it was a gift from my husband. But if I had purchased this myself, or if someone else had given it to me, I may be likely to declutter it. So coming in at the number 14 spot is the ABH Sugar Palette. Coming in at number 13 may be a surprise if you know my neutral preferences, but I actually have to give it to the Gourmand Girls Mocha Moment palette. So this was my first time to try Gourmand Girls. I know my friend Angie is actually friends with Christina from Gourmand Girls. I got to meet her at the Halloween party in Austin this past year, and the palette is beautiful, and it definitely looks like my color story, but there are 2 things that I don't love about this palette. The first being that it is matte heavy. So I definitely prefer an equal number of mattes and shimmers because I have an all matte look on today, but I don't typically wear an all matte look. So here we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 15 shades, I think, are shimmer shades. The other thing that bothered me is that these shimmers perform best with your finger, and they're kind of chunky shimmers. So, I mean, they look beautiful, like marble mocha looks beautiful, Java mocha looks beautiful, Mexican mocha looks beautiful, but the shimmers are just a little bit difficult for me to use. Now, I'm not ready to get rid of this or declutter this just yet. I did buy it a couple months ago, and I would like to play with it again, but I could see myself in the future possibly decluttering this one, which is very sad because I thought the mattes performed amazing. Like I said, I love the color story. I love the potential of the shimmers, but the shimmer formula just wasn't my favorite. So this one had to go in the number 13 spot. Coming in at number 12 is another formula that I don't love, and it is from Odin's Eye. So this is the Silvery Bliss palette. Again, I believe it was holiday last year, 2024, and Odin's Eye has kind of been known for their Christmas palettes. They've put a couple out every year, and then last year they kind of brought them all back. I can't remember if this was last year's or if it was the year before, but you guys, just as much as I am a content creator, I am a content consumer, and I kept seeing people talk about this palette and rave about this palette and review this palette, and I just had major FOMO. I thought that it looked beautiful, like Pink Fantasy looks beautiful, Silver Stream looks beautiful, Silvery Bliss looks beautiful. But again, I think I used this when I was filming for this palette, and then I didn't actually use it again. And part of me is looking at it like, yeah, I really do love it. I mean, like, look, it's so beautiful. But then the other part is like, girl, you have to use your fingers with Odin's Eye shimmers to really pack a punch, and I don't love that. However, I'm not quite ready to declutter this yet. I love the mattes. I love the packaging. Odin's Eye always does the best packaging. This is super cute to me. I feel like it is a Christmas palette. We have kind of warm red shades and chocolatey type shades, and it just looks beautiful. So I do need to challenge myself to use this again and kind of determine more thoughts. But this one is coming in the number 12 spot. So Gourmand Girls and Odin's Eye, I purchased myself. The ABH palette was a gift. Now we're in like the middle zone here, right? Because 14 palettes is not a ton. And so a lot of these were sent to me. Coming in the number 11 spot is this one here from Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Route 66 palette. Now I was on Nomad Cosmetics PR list for about a year and a half maybe, but I am no longer on their PR list, and I still have a great relationship with them. I still have a code KBella if you ever want to shop, but that's why I have a lot of Nomad palettes in this collection. They sent this one to me, and the thing I will say is I do love the Nomad formula. I feel like it has improved. I purchased some of their palettes years ago, and I didn't love the fact that their shimmers were best applied with your finger. Now I can definitely use a brush and get fantastic pigment. The mattes are super creamy and blendable. So for me, it's all about color story stories, and this color story just isn't my favorite. Like, you do have a bunch of neutrals over here, and you do have some greens over here, but like I don't ever see myself using a hot pink, a bright blue, this green, or even this orange here. And so that is why this is kind of coming in the middle bottom of the pack, simply based on color story alone, and it's just not my vibe. So I am actually going to go ahead and declutter this one and see if I have a girlfriend who would want to get more use out of it, because I do think the Nomad formula is amazing. Okay, I literally just made some adjustments as I'm filming. My daughter came in and interrupted me, and I moved a couple things around. So another one, I'm gonna lose count here. Okay, so that was 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Coming in the number 10 spot, another palette from Nomad. It is the Chamonix Après-Ski, I think is how you say it. My friend Angie had to help me with this one. From what I understand, this is a very fancy, bougie ski resort in the French Alps. Are the Alps in France? I don't know. Anyway, this is the color story here. This is much more my vibe, where we have a matte and a shimmer shade paired together. I like the way that we kind of have three different distinct looks. We have a purple blue vibe, we have a green vibe, we have a mauve type of vibe. I love also that we have darker to lighter shimmers and darker to lighter mattes. I did love this palette when I used it. I thought it was super fun. I really love kind of like this trio right here. I really love this section. The greens are super fun. This is not a day-to-day palette for me though, color story-wise. Again, I love the Nomad formula. I am a fan of their formula, but color story-wise, this is not one that I would reach for, and that's why it's coming in the number 10 spot. This next palette, I will say, the packaging like knocked my socks off, okay? Absolutely knocked my socks off, and my daughter's socks while we're at it. Again, it is from Nomad Cosmetics, and coming in the number 9 spot is the Nomad Fairy Tale Europe palette. This is one I definitely would have purchased myself. Again, it was sent to me from Nomad, just like the Chamonix Après-Ski and the Route 66. However, I would have purchased this one. I love the way you have this raised castle. I love the coloring here. It's just very romantic, very elegant. And then when you open it up, you do have a row of nice neutral mattes down here at the bottom. This is actually a shimmer heavy palette, which I don't feel like Nomad does often, but they do have an array of neutrals down here and then some fun colorful shades. Now, am I ever going to use Little Mermaid? Probably not. Probably won't use Snow Queen. Probably won't even use Wicked Fairy over here, or even Love Story. But this Sleeping Beauty shade is beautiful. This Snow White shade is beautiful. First Kiss, Cinderella, Prince Charming. Like, these shades are fun and beautiful. This palette is just kind of nostalgic, right? So all of our favorite fairy tales, Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, they all do have origins in Europe. So I thought that this was super fun. And then down here we have each of the castles. You guys know, like, my husband and I love to travel. Like, we have a travel Instagram account. And so that's one of the reasons why I love Nomad so much, because they do mix makeup and traveling together. So definitely would have purchased this one. Coming in the middle of the road. I love it. Definitely not going anywhere in my collection. Coming in at number 8 is another Nomad palette. This is one of their newer releases. It is the Pacific Northwest. They kindly sent this over to me as well. Again, I love the packaging. We have this like raised texture packaging. We have this fun Pacific Northwest symbol here. The trees. Now, I have never been to the Pacific Northwest. I would love to go there someday, so I don't know if the color story fits the theme, but I know that I love it. It's kind of like this rich, grungy forest theme here. We have, again, a nice mix of mattes to shimmers, which I love. The formula is amazing. The Sunbreak shade is super unique. Cascadia is super unique. I love this Salmon Run shade. So it's just a vibe, like Ecotopia. It's just a vibe, okay? This palette is a vibe. Now, it's coming in middle of the road because this is not a day-to-day color story for me. I am a basic neutral lover, but this is one that I definitely I think about. I like to use it. I'm excited by this palette and excited to create and play with it. So this is a good one. Now coming in at number 7, I'm pretty sure I purchased this one myself. This was a re-release of the Nomad Berlin Underground palette. They said that this was the 10th anniversary. I did not have the original Berlin Underground palette, and to my understanding, this is not exactly the same. They have either added some colors or shifted some colors around, but I saw this color story and I knew I had to have it because, again, it is a little bit more on the neutral side. Yes, we have this nice deep black shade. We have this fun shimmery golden, some greens, some yellows, some golds here, but this is just super fun. It's a fun, unique color story. I like that it's a little bit of a smaller palette. Some of their palettes are so large. This one does have 15 eyeshadows, and it's just, the formula is even better from what I've heard than it was when they first released it. And to my understanding, they did add a couple more mattes. I'm pretty sure that I heard that there were even more shimmers. So I like the way that even though it's shimmer heavy, we do have a nice array of mattes here, and so this is a really good one. Coming in at number 6, another palette that I purchased is this one right here from Unearthly Cosmetics. This is the Shadowed Petal palette. Now, I do love Unearthly Cosmetics formula. I think their shimmers are like out of this world. I think Unearthly and Adept, like the way that they create their shimmers, it's just so amazing. I saw this color story and I was like, I need to have Twilight Rose. I need to have Ethereal Blush. I need to have Midnight Blossom. We have this nice Celestial Silk shade, this Dusky Rose. Like, this is definitely a very romantic palette. It's giving me like Valentine's Day vibes. This is not the palette that I'm wearing, although I feel like it would look really fun. Maybe I should take a little bit of Twilight Rose on my finger and just press it in here. Like, that is beautiful. I mean, look at that. Look at how that just packs a punch. Okay, now I said I don't like using my finger. Let me get a brush. Okay, so I did use my finger here just because it was the closest thing to me, but I've been telling you how I don't like using my finger. So this is my BK Beauty 203. Typically I would spray it with Fix Plus, but I don't have any over here with me. So I'm just gonna show you how I can take a little bit of that Twilight Rose shade and just put it right there on the lid, blend it out. You can see it packs a little bit less of a punch than it did with my finger, so I am actually just gonna take my finger a bit and get a little bit more on there. But this shade, y'all, part of me was like, I haven't used this a ton, I should declutter it, but putting this on my lids again, yeah. This is going nowhere. This is going nowhere. Again, their shimmers are amazing. I love their shimmer formula. I love the way that it applies. I love the way that it looks, and it's fantastic quality. Okay, friends, here we are. We are in our top 5. In our top 5 now, and coming in the number 5 spot, I was just talking about Unearthly Cosmetics, how much I love their shimmers, and how much I love the Adept Cosmetics shimmers. So I did purchase this palette here. This is the Adept Minka, but it's like the Minka remastered. They had an original Minka palette. I never had that one in my collection, and when I saw the Minka remastered, I was so drawn to it. I was drawn to shades like Mia, like Eliza, like Ava, like Sandra. Like, it's just so, these shimmers are not for the faint of heart, okay? These shimmers are going to pack a punch. They are going to be out there. Like, you are going to shine. Okay, now we have some shades like Joshua, Linda, Clara that wouldn't be like a day-to-day for me, but like this bottom row, this shade here, I have used it a ton. I actually am now reminded that I need to pull it out again. I haven't used it recently, and I was actually looking for it. When I was doing my eyeshadow palette collection, I was like, where did my Minka palette go? I didn't even realize that I got it this year in 2025 because I had those palettes in a separate area, but this is one that I am definitely so glad to have in my collection. I love the Adept Cosmetics formula, and these shades are just so special. Okay, coming in at number 4, this is kind of surprising me that this is my only Sigma palette that I got this year in 2025. Sigma does send me PR sometimes. I don't always get their PR. However, I did go to Destin with Creators and Friends, and Sigma did generously gift us the Spectrum palette, and y'all, if you know me, You know I love a neutral palette. Now this would be more of a companion palette for me just because we do only have one row of shimmers and then an array of mattes. This would be a great palette for like a beginner or a young makeup lover, teen, young adult, someone who just needs a little bit of everything in their life, right? But it's going to be easy. It's a formula you can count on. The thing that's nice about these shimmers, they aren't going to pack as much of a punch as the Unearthly or Adept. So if you don't want a boom bam in your face, maybe you have texture on your lids, maybe you have more mature eyelids, these shimmers are going to give you a nice sheen, a nice sparkle, but they won't be too heavy, they won't be too much on the lid. So I love this one. It's a great staple to have in my collection. I think the Sigma quality is great. I have a code with them, KBella, if you are ever shopping the site, but I love having this one. Coming in the number 3 spot is a palette that was also gifted to me in Destin on the Creators and Friends trip. This is my best friend Angie's brand, Singe Beauty. This is the Agate Temptation palette. Now y'all, there may be people who may be saying that I'm putting this so high because I'm Angie's friend, but I would not do that, okay? I'm still going to be honest about her brand. I love this palette, y'all. I love this palette. I wore it when we were in Destin, and then I came home and I continued wearing it. I put this Chalcedony shade all over the lid and then topped it with translucent one day. I loved that. I played with this crystallized shade, both with the greens, but I found that I actually loved the crystallized shade when I used Acades and Metamorphic in the crease and to deepen out, and then crystallized on the lid. This Silica shade is beautiful on the inner corner. I've mixed Acades and Gilded. I have used this Dendric shade as like an outer corner or a liner. It's just, this is a beautiful, beautiful palette. I have to say, I haven't played a ton with these two red shades here, but I've said this before and I'll say it again. I love the way that Angie, who is a color lover, makes this easy and comfortable for neutral lovers. This is a colorful palette, but there are colors in there that are neutral leaning and just so fun and special, and I love the quality. It's amazing. I knew that it would be nothing short of amazing if it came from Angie's brand. I love her packaging. This is based on the agate stone, and it's just fantastic. I still reach for this palette. It's in my top 3. It's a top favorite. Okay, drum roll please. The palette that is on my eyes today is coming in the number 2 spot, and surprisingly, it is from Odin's Eye. I say surprisingly because I've talked about how Odin's Eye is not one of my favorite formulas. However, they did collaborate with Morgan Turner this year on the Love Language palette. I did purchase it myself, and y'all, this is one of my top most reached for palettes of this year, easily. It's, like I said, it's the palette that I'm wearing today, but when I say that I reach for this eyeshadow palette, it's mostly this quad, like right here. I've done a ton with that quad. When I can't think of what to do, I reach in for that quad. I love this Service shade. It's got a dip in it for even just like setting the brow bone. I love this Touch shade because it's a very soft shimmer, not one that packs a huge punch, but you do have some that pack a huge punch, like this Heart shade or even Gifts or Daydream. This Daydream shade is fun with Giggle and Crush. I don't love 829. It looks like I should love 829. It looks like a beautiful formula. This is one of the shimmer formulas that I don't love. You do need to use your finger, and even when I use my finger, I still don't get really any pigment. It's more of a topper, so I don't love that. I like the shades more like Touch or Flirt or Treat or Cuddles that are maybe packed, not quite as chunky, a little bit softer, I will say. But I've used this quad a ton. I've loved it. It's been a fantastic palette, and I'm so glad to have it in my collection. So if you've been following along, if you are not new to my channel and you are aware of what is in my collection, then that means that the number 1 spot for 2025 is going to none other than Singe Beauty and the Paisley Hoot palette. This is the newest release from Singe Beauty. I did have a little sneak peek. Angie kind of let me know what was coming, and y'all, when I tell you, this is the color story of my dreams, okay? Angie made this with neutral lovers in mind. I am a neutral lover, but she still used such special shades. So I have reached into this a ton. I've used this so often. This shag rug is the brightest white that I have ever seen. Like, you just tap in, you put it on the inner corner, boom, bam, very light and bright. This groovy shade is like a fun twist of like a gold neutral. Disco is super fun. I love this jumpsuit shade. Funky is so fun. Glam Rock is so fun. I love this palette. I've reached into it a ton. I am a neutral lover, guys. The Singe beauty quality is amazing. The mattes are super creamy and blendable. The shimmers pack a punch. You have very minimal fallout. And Angie just does create these beautiful shifty shades that I love oh so much. I highly, highly recommend this palette. I went to the Creators and Friends Halloween party, and I was wearing this on my eyes, and when I tell you, multiple people would stop me and say, what is on your eyes? Singe Beauty, Paisley Hoot. They were like, oh my gosh, I need that palette. What is on your eyes? Singe Beauty, Paisley Hoot. What is on your eyes? Singe Beauty, Paisley Hoot. Like, I got so many compliments. I love this palette. I love the packaging. It's such a vibe. Angie did amazing, and this is definitely coming in my top spot for 2025. Okay, y'all, I am winded. That is going to do it for this video. Day 6 in my 7 days of Christmas. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my ranking, seeing my top palettes. I only had 14 this year, and I'm not mad about it, y'all. I feel like next year I will have an even smaller amount. I still have a very large collection. If you caught my collection and declutter series, I still have a very large collection, more than the average person, but I really am trying to curate it and keep products that I'm using, and eyeshadow is a product that I just don't even use every day, so I'm not really purchasing a ton of eyeshadows. Every now and then one gets me, and I'm not getting a ton of PR anymore these days. So these are the products that I got this year. I have been loving them. I am so happy with them. Now I get to move them out of that box and into my collection. So if you enjoyed this series, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed before you go. That way I can see you in the next one.